made rules and format.
Hello and welcome to the E1 Championship Season 2. I'm Amanda Andrea, your designated race girl for E1. The season started last Wednesday at one of the most celebrated Formula One circuits, Interlagos, Brazil. One round down, 7 more to go, with more points to collect. Today in round 2, more thrills and excitement awaits in the well-known motor racing circuit in Montreal, Canada, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. This circuit debuted with the 1978 Canadian Grand Prix and has since become the home to Canada's annual Formula One race. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is situated on Montreal's Ile Notre Dame, a man-made island in the St. Lawrence River. It is a twisting track with several chicanes, a long straight, and big stops. This clockwise direction circuit has undergone a number of alterations over the years to arrive at its current total length of 4.361 kilometers with 14 turns and 1 long straight. The circuit is a fairly flat circuit, almost as flat as the surface of the former Olympic rowing lake alongside it, with just 5.2 meters between its highest and lowest point. The current lap record of Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is 1 minute and 13.078 seconds by Valtteri Bottas. The Lara IR01 is still the designated car for round 2 at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. This Italian beauty is designed to blend the best elements of Grand Prix racing past, present, and future. It is powered by a 3-liter V10 engine, giving it 900 horsepower at a dry weight of just 600 kilograms, which allows it to accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers in 1.2 seconds with a top speed at 346 kilometers per hour. It is an absolute thrill to drive. Round 2 will start with a 10 minutes qualifying race that determines the driver's starting position, which is then followed by a 15-minute sprint race and a 30 minutes reverse grid race. Points will be earned, of course, in each race. The top 5 in the qualifying race, top 15 and race 1 and race 2, of course, will be earning points as well. The driver with the fastest lap in race 1 and 2 will also be getting additional 2 points per race. In Season 2, the total championship prize pool has increased to $16,000, which is then broken down into 2 categories: the Drivers' Championship and Team Championship. The winning champion and winning team will walk away with $4,000 and a trophy, followed by first, second, third, and fourth runner-up. This is respectively for both driver and team divisions as well. Cash and trophies are up for grabs. Good luck to all teams and drivers, and may the fastest win.
5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking from Malaysia. I say, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
Here we got the championship team, championship defending team. Muhammad Alif, who's champion in season 1, and he's joined by the ever-fast Muhammad Ibrahim. Super quick race 1 winner in round 1 as well.
For Stratos Motorsports, Naki Baslan has won 11 E1 races, but he failed miserably last week in the start of season 2. His teammate Dominic Ang, they'll have to work hard together to pick up some points.
And then we have Black Wolf Racing from Singapore. We've got the Australian driver Kalen Chin, or Singaporean Australian driver. He's only 14 years old, and he's joined by another teenager, Mika Hakimi.
Fast Filipinos, Inigo Anton and Joaquim Garrido. Inigo came 4th in Season 0, is very, very quick, but struggled a little bit on this new platform. Look out for improvement this week.
And then we have Safe House, the Korean/Singaporean team. We've got Miko Nasi, who really should have won a race in round 1. He's joined by Joshua Thomas, one of the dark horses really for the championship.
They leave their personality on the track. Luke Bannister and Josh Perwin, the Australian duo, who are top of the championship standings. Black Arts indeed.
Indeed. And then we have another duo of teenagers, Arif Azmi and Muhammad Zini from Malaysia and Singapore respectively, joining Apex E Racing, the Brunei-based team. And these are 2 young chargers to look out for.
Slipstream Motorsport are new to E1 Championship as a team, but Alistair Young is a veteran in terms of races. Had a difficult time last week in race 1. Ivan Vantagiato needs to pick up the pace as well.
And then we have Team EGG. We have a new driver joining us, Melwin Tan from Philippines, joining us because Whelan Choi was not able to make the next 2 races, and he's joined by veteran Aaron Lim, the A1 GP driver.
A bit closer to my generation, Tunku John Lay, who caused an almighty pile-up last week. He's joined by Keithley Othman. They will provide some fireworks. The old boys have still got some spirit, you know.
Thanks there to Alex and Des. We have about 3 or so minutes until qualifying. So just a quick mention on the track. Alex, we heard from Amanda earlier. She gave us the lowdown, of course. But I was on the Facebook page for E1 Championship, and they have a race difficulty rating. Out of 10, it was put as a 4, which surprised me, because we heard all the drivers earlier on say it's a difficult track. And I think it was one of the drivers, Alex, it might have been, who's never even raced on this track. So how difficult is it?
Okay, it's a street track, so that makes it a bit tricky. It's quite bumpy, and you've got walls on either side of the track, so if you make a mistake, you're in the walls. But as far as the track goes, it's very simple. Long straights that's separated by chicanes. Yeah, you have to learn how to ride the curbs just right to carry the speed, and you need a car that's good under braking and traction. But it's very simple to learn. The drivers actually will learn this track super easy. It'd be an easy track to learn, maybe a bit of a tricky track to be quick on though. You know, the bumps will make it a bit tough, and you'll see guys, like especially the last corner, that chicane, if you monster the curbs there, you can find a lot of time, but you get it wrong, and you'll be in the barriers in the Wall of Champions.
Right, I think we're just about ready for qualifying. So let's go once again to Amanda before passing the mic over to Des and Amo.
It's a hot and sunny day in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, Canada, with 32 degrees Celsius and the air humidity is at 70% with only a wind speed of 500 meters per hour. This beautiful circuit was originally named the Ile Notre-Dame Circuit. It was officially renamed into Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in the honor of legendary Canadian Formula 1 driver Gilles Villeneuve after his fatal accident at the 1982 Belgian Grand Prix. Well, now the drivers and teams are finishing their practice round. The 10-minute qualifying race is coming up next. Let's head over to the commentary desk to talk us through the race.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. The E1 Championship Season 2, it's the Premier Sim Racing Championship, and we're delighted to give a shout out to our main sponsor, Evo Club Car Insurance with Pro Mileage. Save 40% on your next car insurance renewal. EvoClubInsurance.com. Having paid homage to the sponsors, let's go to the circuit. And we are still in practice. There's a minute or so left. Amo Hazik joins me. Amo is a very highly regarded sim racer in his own right. But this platform, Amo, it's caused 1 or 2 problems for the racers, the regular racers in Season 1. Are you expecting a big improvement?
Maybe after weeks of practice, they will probably get the grips to it, as we see Ibrahim actually doing a practice start in the pit lane. But yes, we should expect the drivers who struggled in that first race to come good in the second one, but to challenge the likes of Ibrahim and the Australians who are iRacing specialists might be a tall order, but it might bring a surprise or two in this particular race.
You've said in previous matches, in previous broadcasts, by the way, qualification, the 10-minute qualification has started. You said in previous broadcasts you love this circuit as a sim racer. Why?
Because the walls are so close, it's very challenging. The corners are exhilarating to take. And let's face it, the sites are beautiful actually. It's a man-made island beside the St. Lawrence River with the Expo building. If we can actually see it through the trees here, there is a World Expo building that he opened for Montreal back in 1967 in there. So a very beautiful site. Yeah, I think we can just see it just about behind the trees there. But yeah, great circuit, really love it. And I'm excited to see it racing in this championship.
We are on board with Mohammed Ibrahim because he was by far and away the fastest racer last week. He set a hugely quick qualification time. So let's just see how he's dealing with this circuit here. As we just come around, Mohammed Ibrahim, he hasn't set a lap time there. So that's the out lap. 10 minutes, it's a long time for them to set a lap time, particularly here because we're expecting what, a 117, a high 116s?
113s, I would say.
113s?
Yeah, because these
the fastest is 115, isn't it?
Yes, but because the last time that we were here for the actual qualifying session for the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel set a 113. Sorry, a 110, but in the race it was a 113 in the race itself. Sorry, get my words mixed up there. But yes, around that time at least, 113 to 115 should be the ideal target.
Well, we're staying on board just at the moment with Mohammed Ibrahim, but Luke Bannister, He's the man who really took us by surprise last week. The Australian Luke Bannister won race 2, having taken a 3rd place in race 1, and he was also 3rd fastest now in qualification. Now, he's an iRacing expert. What is the difference between an iRacing expert and somebody else?
Completely different form of racing, to be honest, and the fact that cost aside, it is actually one of the highly regarded simulators among all the experts. The tire physics are just about up there. The weight transition for the cars is also pretty good. So you can really see why when we call it iRacing experts, they are really up there. They are fast and they know what they're doing, especially in cars like this.
Well, Bannister set a first lap time of 1:12.90. That is a 2nd down on the man who's quickest by quite some way. Once again, Mohammed Ibrahim. So Bannister looking to improve on that. Currently he's down in P7. So a lot of work for Bannister to do. We'll just stick with him on this tricky chicane. There is no runoff and it's very claustrophobic. As we look there, those walls are incredibly close to the races.
Absolutely, and the fact that there's been multiple times in so many years that the cars just scrape the barriers coming out of those corners. In fact, here you can see the markings on the wall there. That's how many times that cars have actually touched the wall. So you can literally white wall the tires when you go out of these corners.
Well, Luke Bannister, as he comes to the last corner. This is corner 10. It's the hairpin, and then just a little kink until, he comes to the chicane. So down the Casino Straight, and then into what I know is one of your favourite parts of the circuit.
Yes, the Wall of Champions inaugurated. Well, it was inaugurated until 1999. It was christened because in that particular year, Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, and Damon Hill all crashed there, and they were all former champions, so that's why we call it the Wall of Champions.
Luke Bannister down in P9 at the moment. Mohammed Ibrahim, he is still quickest. Let's move on to Alif Hamilton. Now, Alif struggled last week, change of platform, the defending champion, of course, in the E1 Championship. How's Alif doing? Currently 3rd fastest, a 1:12.21, his best time at the moment.
Yep, and certainly some room for improvement. He can definitely improve it now. In fact, we're looking at the sector times. A bit off. In fact, he was fastest in the first. He says first and best in the first sector. Can he come through the final sector to improve? No. Still 6/10 off, but at least he's in a better position than compared to when he was in round 1.
This is Mohammed Alif Hamilton, the defending champion, Team Flash, a Singaporean. We are expecting him to do well. Here he is. We'll just stick with him just for a little while longer, just to see how he's dealing with this circuit. So far it's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty solid on the circuit, and bottom right of the screen you can see that's the Alif of old, isn't it? He looks fairly in control.
Absolutely, and the fact that he will love to win here as well, because you cast your minds back to 2007, Lewis Hamilton had his first ever Grand Prix win right here, so to emulate his hero would definitely be the icing on top of the cake.
Okay, let's look at another former champion, the Season 0 champion, Naqib Aslan. He was 4th fastest at the moment. If we just get a bird's eye view on where he is on the circuit, Naqib Aslan currently 4th fastest. Bannister's in the pit lane, so Naqib, he's lost a little bit there. He'll have to abandon this lap and he'll drop down to P5. Let's have a look at one of the Australians, Josh Thomas, who rather underperformed last week. I think we expected more from Josh.
Yeah, absolutely, and the fact that he was also involved in that collision with Alif coming into turn 3 at the start of the first race, so not a good start to the season for him, but he actually just clawed back that deficit of getting penalized in that first race by scoring a pretty good 5th place in the second. So it's not disappointing by any stretch of imagination, but he would have wished that he would not be involved in incidents in this time.
P2 at the moment, 0.4 of a second down on Mohammed Ibrahim. We have got 4 minutes left of qualification. Plenty of opportunity to get out on the circuit for them all. Here is Josh Thomas as he comes round this hairpin. Then you've got that little kink and then the long straight where you're reaching speeds of what, 300, 315, 320 kilometers an hour?
Yeah, 320 in 7th gear. That's pretty much what you can expect with these cars. They top out around 330. And in fact, they can go even faster by 250 miles per hour, which is about 340. So these cars can still really pull on the straights. But in this particular case, they have to get it through the corners, which Josh Thomas really nearly scraped the wall for a second, comes across the line and remains second. In fact, he got up to second that previous lap. So I think he's going to abandon this one and try to go for another run.
How about Josh Purwin? He's another who did well last week. He didn't get a victory, but he is certainly in a very, very strong team, Josh. And he looks very determined. Both those Aussies, Bannister and Purwin, they've got a little glint in their eye, don't they?
Absolutely. They really relish with the fact that once this was first announced, when we were going to iRacing for the second season, or third season rather, but officially we call it season 2, they really looked like they wanted to prove a point, and now they're really going for broke here and dominate the championship. Josh comes around. I think he's going to set another lap time. In fact, he was on his out lap, so he's ready to go for another round, at least 2 more laps.
Why don't I ask you to get us on a circuit around Gilles Villeneuve, as you like it so much?
Yes, we already went through the first 3 corners. In fact, we're coming up to the corner where Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel had their infamous coming together in 2019, the last time we had a Canadian Grand Prix, which Vettel lost his win. Then coming up to turn 5 and 6 to 7, we're going to back straight here, and normally we see some beavers or groundhogs cross by because there's a lot of wildlife around this area, so luckily for the drivers, virtually there's not there, as Josh gets a cock up for 2 wheels there through 8 and 9, luckily kept it together. Now coming out to turn 10, wall on the outside here, that's where Robert Kubica infamously went off in 2007 after hitting Jarno Trulli. Luckily he walked away with just only some concussion, but overall he got back into the car next week in Indianapolis in 2007. And up to the back straight now, 11 and 12. This is where the drivers can actually get into the back of the slipstream and try an overtaking maneuver at turn 13 and 14 before they come up to the wall of champions right here. 13, you can outbrake someone. Oh, he's into the barriers, and there you go, he flips. Oh, and Josh, well, he nearly ends up on his roof, which would be the right way, Yabi, because he's Australian.
Josh Berwin showing exactly why you love that wall of champions and exactly why we're happy that it's actually a monitor and virtual that we're on and not a real life racer, because that was spectacular in Montreal. What it means, though, is that Berwin is out of the top 5. Let's get on board with Luke Bannister. 1 minute 15 left in qualification. This will be his last chance to get into the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely, to get points on the board. In fact, championship leader after round 1. He can actually be safe in the knowledge that Berwin's right behind his teammates, so he will not lose points to him. But to the likes of Ibrahim, who can get points on him now, Nassi, Thomas, and Alif, who has actually qualified well this time. So Bannister then, if he wants to get a leg up on his championship rivals, he's got to get this lap in now, or at least for the next one, because the next 2 laps here are crucial.
Sector 1, Sector 2, they're quick times, but not as quick as Mohammed Ibrahim, who is happily in the pits at the moment, having set a fastest lap for the 2nd consecutive week. Let's see what Bannister is able to produce. He's currently in P6, 1:12.32 is his target, and he has not been able to improve on that. And that is that.
No, I think he's got his 1 more lap, because if he really called it quits, he would have stopped at the first turn. So he's still going for it. Let's see if he can actually improve on this one.
Well, you're quite right. He is going for it, isn't he? As we follow the championship leader, 44 points accumulated by the Australian on his first ever appearance. At the moment, Ibrahim in pole, Nassi alongside him on the front row of the grid, Josh Thomas and Alif Hamilton. And I tell you what, Luke Bannister is going to miss out because the qualification period, I believe, is over.
Oh, that's a surprise, because I thought he had enough time for 1 more lap. So Bannister then, not scoring points in the qualifications. That would be a shocker for him.
Okay, so Mohammed Ibrahim has picked up pole position once again. Alex Young, Inquisition time.
Wow, so good, a nice big gap as well. What's that, 4 tenths? Joshua Thomas there, just up to P2 at the very, very end, at the def there. Miko Nassi, good job by Miko Nassi up to P3. I think Miko Nassi will be quite pleased with that. But Mohammed Ibrahim, 11.5. We'll have to talk to Ibrahim if we can. Ibrahim, you got to be pleased with that. Another pole position.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very thankful and grateful to God that got another pole. You know, just this track is really tough. You know, it's easy to make a mistake. So I was really thankful to get the pole.
Yeah, I mean, some of the drivers be talking. It's a challenging track using the curbs and stuff. Have you had to change your car setup a lot between Interlagos and Canada?
I mean, to be honest, it's really similar. But I mean, obviously there are things you have to change. I'll just say that.
Driving style, perhaps. Well,
yeah.
I mean, it is great. Congratulations to the pole. It is a smaller gap than Brazil. Brazil was 7 tenths, 4 tenths this time. Will you be able to run away at the front again, or will it be tougher?
Of course, it'll be tougher. You know, I mean, there's quite a lot of slipstream in this race, so hopefully we can bring it home cleanly, and me and Alif can finish 1-2.
Wow, that'd be perfect. Alif also improved there in P4. Well, congratulations on another pole. Good luck for race 1.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks there to Mohammed Ibrahim. Des, I believe we're ready for the unofficial results. So walk us through what we've just witnessed.
I'm not sure we are. I haven't got them so far officially. Yes, we do. Mohamed Ibrahim is the man saved by the graphic. Ibrahim, fastest once again, a 1:11.520. Miko Nasi coming through in P2 for Safe House, just ahead of Josh Thomas. Alif, I tell you what, that's really strong for Alif Hamilton at P4, and Naki Baslan. The two previous champions have answered the critics, me, and have got themselves points. Luke Bannister 6, Josh Perwin 7, Inigo Anton 8, Hakimi 9. Kalen Chin will be frustrated with a P10, so only the top 5 pick up points, but Ibrahim and Nasi on the front row. It's looking pretty good. The E1Championship.com is the place to go, and EvoClubInsurance.com are our sponsors.
Many thanks there to Des Corkill. We'll be, of course, expecting a whole lot more throughout the course of the evening. We have the sprint race, we have the reverse grid race, we have our analysis of what we've witnessed in qualifying. What can we glean from that short 10-minute round of qualifying? We're going to discuss that next year. Stay tuned.
When I switched to Pro mileage, I got 46-47% of savings.
I paid $790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was $1,290. Pro mileage was the only one that gave me $5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking Pro mileage. I say, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
An entirely enthralling qualifying session just finished a few minutes ago. We've already spoken to the fastest man on the track for the second week in a row, I should add. But Alex, he finished in P3. I think we got Joshua Thomas standing by to give us his thoughts as well. Very impressive, you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Thomas, I mean, he's a very highly rated iRacing driver. Josh, you can see it right now on screen. You want to talk us through your qualifying session? You qualified P3.
I gave it all I had. I threw the kitchen sink at it, and unfortunately, again, Ibrahim's got a fair bit on the field, but I think we closed that gap from round one, so that's a positive, and Miko got me as well, so I sandbagged a little. I let him get ahead of me just for a bit of a confidence boost.
Maybe he needs it. We'll talk to him soon. What can you do for the race, though? You think you'll still be in there for a shot for the win?
I think if Ibrahim gets out in the clear, he's going to be hard to catch, I think, but consistency wins, so I guess you got to be there to win it, so we'll just try and keep the car straight. It was full of carnage, I guess, the first round, so hopefully we can keep it in a straight line, and like I said, just consistent laps and we'll get there in the end.
Okay, well done. Good luck for race one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much there for Joshua. We were also mentioning Nico Nasser. He was in P2. Alex, he looks like he means business to make up for what happened last week.
Well, yeah, I mean, he always has a couple wins in every season. He should have had a win in round one, shouldn't he? But let's chat to him now. Miko, not bad there, front row.
Yeah, thanks. That was good. Hopefully, we deliver in the race as well this time. Yeah, definitely improved relative to Ibrahim in round one, so super happy with that.
Yeah, a lot closer. How have your starts been? Think you get Ibrahim at the start?
Let's hope so. Practicing now. We'll, yeah, gotta nail it.
Yeah, what about strategy? Is this first 15-minute race just soft tires to the end?
Yeah, probably soft tires. Start
Really?
to finish. Yeah, they should be good.
Soft tires to the end. Okay, I think you're telling a porcupine. But all right. But obviously slipstream is going to be important. You can't let Ibrahim get away. If you can just kind of stay with him, fancy your chance of getting a slipstream and overtake at some point during the race.
Yeah, that'll be the goal. At least initially, stay with him to try to get away from the rest behind us.
Okay.
And then go from there.
All right, I can see you're already thinking about the start, so I'll let you go, and good luck for race one.
Thank you.
Alex, can I just ask you, you're showing a bit of surprise. For those who are watching who aren't aware, the softs and the track temperature, the heat, how much does this play into the equation?
Yeah, so, I mean, iRacing is very sensitive to temperature. You get much higher tire wear, and the lap times slow down a lot when it gets too hot. And it's pretty hot now for qualifying in race one. So I'm surprised if anyone's going to use the soft tires. And I know it's only a 15-minute race one, but so I'm not sure the soft tires will last all the way.
What about Safe House and their performance? I mean, on the contrasting side, Black Arts would be disappointed, but Safe House would be happy.
Yeah, I mean, Black Arts would be very disappointing. From winning a race and being on the pace in round one to, 8/10 off? That's a huge gap. But yeah, Safe House, great job, you know. I mean, they're putting a lot of effort. They've got a team of engineers working behind them, behind Miko Nassi and Josh, Josh Thomas. So you can see that that's happening. You know, round one already, they were looking good. Now round two, they're looking even better. And I think that's going to continue throughout the whole season. They're just going to get stronger and stronger the further we go into the championship.
Okay, Des, I'm going to pass it over to you to go through once again what happened in qualifying.
This time they are the official results that we have. Evo Club Car Insurance with Pro Mileage are the sponsors, and Mohammed Ibrahim fastest once again for Team Flash, car number 33. Second place Miko Nassi, very good for him, and Josh Thomas, the Safe House brothers. Now nobody's mentioned Mohammed Alif Hamilton, Team Flash in P4, and Naqib Aslan also showing some real improvements and pace there. They are the point scorers from the 10-minute qualification.
Miko and Joshua already. What about our two former champions? Well, I think you were saying earlier on that they'll be looking to definitely improve on Interlagos to here today, given their pedigree.
Yeah, I mean, they've made a big improvement. They're both in the top 5 right now. So they've nice improvement from round one, I have to say. But everyone on the grid will be a big concern. There's, you know, a good 4/10 to the leader. 4/10 is quite a lot around Montreal. So, but they're not going to be happy with that. They'll be, you know, a little bit satisfied that they're closer, but still a lot more to do.
We didn't really get to expand a little bit earlier when we were looking at the track, though, because I'm interested in the sprint race, because the word I think to be used is claustrophobic. And we're going to have a lot of cars. Qualifying, you're just alone out there, effectively, but here, when you have all the cars on the track, what are we going to be looking out for once we start the sprint race?
Well, it depends. Let's not forget, turn 1, 2, and 3 is always, you say claustrophobic, a traffic jam. It's always a traffic jam there. Every time Formula 1 comes here, we always have a collision in turn 2. So I think that's going to happen again. Des is going to love it. And you've got some fast starters as well. We've seen Alif, from Singapore. He's always a great starter. He starts P4. You can see him in P1 before turn 1 if he gets another mega start. Nakib's also a good starter. So there is going to be huge traffic jam through 1 and 2. And I'll be shocked if we get through without some sort of carnage.
The other thing is also the car. The choice of car that you've gone for the Lara, it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
Just the slightest tap and you can go into a wheel spin. So with the claustrophobia on the track, with the traffic jam, and the sensitivity of the car, we're going to have some crashes, for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping everyone gets through 1, 2 nicely. But you're right. I mean, just the slightest touch of these cars that throws you in the air. So the drivers just have to build in some gaps. Inevitably, at the end of the race, someone's going to be complaining about someone, saying he was trying to be a cowboy or something and took out 4 cars. So that will definitely happen in race 1. And for the experienced drivers, they'll be aware of that. They're going to try and give us a bit more space and try and... Here's the thing though, if you're at the front, you can't take it easy. You need to push. Because if you brake too early, people are going to come slamming into the back of you. So you have to push. It's a real fine line. And everyone just has to be perfect if they want to avoid any sort of contact.
That would suit Mohamed Ibrahim, because he's an aggressive driver, surely.
He's an aggressive driver, but he also knows you can't win the race in the first corner. He'll be under big pressure to get a good start. He knows if he has a bad start, okay, there's not a big run from the start line to turn 1, but it's long enough. If he has a poor start, he could lose 2 or 3 positions. So he'll be under big pressure to nail his start.
Okay, tantalizing. Let's go once again to Amanda ahead of the sprint race.
Hello and welcome back. For those of you who just joined us, you are now watching E1 Championship Season 2, Round 2 at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. This circuit consists of a unique blend of high-speed curves and tight chicanes, together with a long straightaway preceded by the tight Le Pont de Hairpin. Well, the qualifying race has ended. Drivers are getting ready for the 15-minute sprint race next. Let's get back to the commentary desk to talk us through the upcoming race.
Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, straight into the race we are. It is, there's a warm-up situation going on, and there will be a rolling start today, Amo. That man, Alex Young, has decided he doesn't want too many crashes at the very front, and so he's gone for a rolling start, which is a little bit safer. True or false?
Slightly true, slightly false as well, because even rolling starts, we can have accidents. Just look at NASCAR and IndyCar. But it's a much safer bet compared to having a car stall right in front of you and you crash into it. Remember, in 1982, we had a fatal accident here before Riccardo Paletti because a car stalled and Pironi was the car that was stalled. It was a Ferrari stalled and he ran to the back of him. Car caught fire. So luckily we don't have that kind of danger here, but that's kind of danger you have if a car stalls on a dummy grid or on the starting grid. So better to have a formation lap start.
Our motor racing encyclopedia, Amo Haziq, gets us underway with the first of several thousand facts that he'll throw at you today. Let's have a look at how it's going to line up, though, in round 1. We are at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Canada, and Mohamed Ibrahim will be on pole position for Team Flash alongside Miko Nassi. Josh Thomas in P3. Great performance by Josh Thomas as we just have a little look down at Josh Thomas there. There is his livery. We expected the Aussies to do well, Amo, and that's pretty solid.
Indeed. Aussies 3rd, 6th, and 7th, and in 10th. So, yeah, not the dominance that we saw just last time out in Interlagos, but they're still right up there as we're getting underway. We're underway. Actually, it's not a formation. It's not a rolling start. It's an actual start. So we're underway now for the first race here in Montreal.
Well, that's interesting. Let's sort this out. Muhammad Alif Hamilton at the moment is in P3. And what it means, Mohamed Ibrahim has got away to a terrific start. So the start is there. Apologies from me for adding to the confusion, and they've got around the potential carnage at turns 2 and 3. And Ibrahim has got off to the blistering start, Amo, that I think everybody was worried about.
Yes, and that's the one that Josh Thomas actually pointed out during the interview. If Ibrahim got into the lead, that's it. He's sprinting away. He's galloping away like a gazelle in these African prairies. He's just now going to check out here, but Nassi's only about a second behind. Anything has to happen here, and we know that Ibrahim can be quite rugged sometimes.
Well, that caught me by surprise. I do apologise, dreadful commentary. But anyway, Miko Nasi is the man in P2. And he's got Alif, who got off to a great start. And Luke Bannister, who's got up from P6 into P4. Let's just have a look at Luke Bannister. Remember, Luke won race 2 last week. He's in the red livery. And as they come round at the end of a very fast opening lap, Bannister is got himself up from P6 at the start into P4. And Naki Baslan and Josh Thomas are both struggling, but good start from Bannister.
And it's again that particular thing there is where the start is so finicky with these cars. You just have to get that clutch slip and the bite point just about right to get off the line. And for the guys up in front in first to fourth, they've got that just about right, and they're well clear of Naki Aslan, who's in fifth right now. So Naki's got a lot of work to do here to actually get back to the top 4. As we look further behind there, Naki being chased by Josh Thomas coming through turn 5 and 6.
Yeah, there is Naki Baslam. He has got Josh Thomas for real company. Nakib in P5. Bannister is away to our left-hand side, but Josh Thomas tries to make a move on the outside. There are 2 terrific chicanes on this circuit. They can be terrifying because you have full pace and then suddenly got to slam on and get the correct... Oh, Nakib struggling. Nakib off the circuit.
You know, he got hit by Josh, actually. I think there was a bit of a slight mistake there. Miscommunication between the 2 drivers. Naki braked slightly early. Joshua Thomas just came steaming in and knocked him into the hairpin. Luckily, they didn't come a cropper like it between Johnny Herbert and Mika Hakimi. But Nakib there were probably being caught by surprise to be hit that early in the race.
Okay, there is Nakib Aslan. He lost a place, but he's just gone past Mika Hakimi.
Yeah,
that is the battle for P6 at the moment. Up at the front, we'll just break away from that because look at what Mohammed Ibrahim is already doing.
Indeed, Ibrahim now 2.1 seconds. He pulled almost 2 seconds in just a space of 3 laps. That is amazing there for Ibrahim as we look at the replay of what happened to presumably what happened to Nakib and Joshua Thomas. They're the guys who are further behind up. We're not going to get replay of that. But Nakib there, to his credit, managed to keep the car under control and managed to keep himself ahead of Mika Hakimi to prevent further position loss.
Heck, look at this lead already for Mohammed Ibrahim. He posted a 1:13.37 and his lead ahead of Miko Nasi, who's held on to P2, but is holding up Alif and Luke Bannister. But his lead is 2.2 seconds already.
Wow, and it looks like Joshua Thomas's premonition has come true here. Once you give that guy clean air, he's going to check out. And unfortunately for the rest of the field, he's checked out in just 3 laps. So it's going to be a long way here to actually get back to him in the last 12 minutes that remain.
We'll focus on the battle for P2 at the moment as Nasi leads Alif Hamilton and Luke Bannister and Josh Thomas. Now then, Nakib Aslan is dropping down. Nakib is having serious problems. We saw him just clip now. Would there be damage to Nakib, or has he made another mistake trying too hard to get back?
I think he might have been hit by Mika here. We can't get replay of that. But if he actually got hit by Mika or clout into the wall of champions, that's the first incumbent, or in this case ex-champion, that clouted the wall of champions, other than Josh Perwin, of course. Perwin being the Logitech G Challenge champion. So that will be 2 champions in the wall for this race.
Well, you saw how close he got to the wall there, Nakib, but he is down in a disappointing 10th place. And you just look at his face, bottom right of the screen. He looks disappointed. It's almost like a shrug of the shoulders. What's going on here, he's saying.
Well, he was smiling there a bit. Probably he is talking to a teammate there, just trying to calm himself down a bit. Still, though, not a great start to the season for Nakib. This is the 3rd race of the season already, and looks like it's going to be a tall order here to get back the championship that he won back in season 0.
This is a sprint race. We are just over a third of the way through, but Mohammed Ibrahim has established a 3.1 second lead. He is barely blasting away. A best lap inside 1:13. I didn't believe it when you said in the 1:12s, but look at this, inside 1:13.
In fact, 1:12.9. So he's the only one who's actually underneath the 1:13. So whatever that he's had this morning, he's definitely wanting to put the second race result in Interlagos behind him and just try to challenge for the championship lead, which in this case is currently held by Luke Bannister. And Bannister then only in 4th place at the moment as Nakib goes through the pit lane. Looks like that's a drive-through? Is that a drive-through, or is that he faced the damage? Whatever it is, Not a good start to the first race here for Nakib at Montreal, and he's got a lot of work to do in the second race.
Down into P18, Ibrahim leads. Let's have a little look at that battle for P2 though, because it is still close. Still Mikko Nassi is able to hold on, and with this is going to be the slipstream shot that we see, and Nassi is going to come under real pressure from Alif Hamilton. Let's have a look and see what Alif is able to do. Alif currently in P3. That is Nassi. He's not quite close enough, is he?
No, he isn't. He's in fact 5 tenths behind. You need to be at least 2 to 3 tenths behind to actually really get that slipstream. He's gotten close, but unfortunately no way through. But Bannister though, he's even closer. In fact, he's actually closed out the gap to almost just 3 seconds as they come to the line here. This is going to be interesting fight for second. Regardless of what Ibrahim does at the front, we're looking at what is happening between second, third and fourth here for the final positions on the rostrum.
Well, that was Alif just showing us a little bit of rubber there. We're on board with Luke Bannister, who's in P4. He got 2 podiums in the first race of the season over at Interlagos. This, though, is an opportunity now. He could be getting close enough to try and make a real pass on Muhammad Alif Hamilton. But Alif has got terrific racecraft and will defend his place for all he can.
Absolutely. He, as we've seen in previous chapters that we covered before, when he really defends, he knows how to defend quite well. And amazingly, he doesn't really defend that aggressively, but when he overtakes, he can be very aggressive. So defensively, much cleaner, I would say. So coming up now to the hairpin at turn 10, the La Pungle, and in French it just means the hairpin. No way through just yet for Bannister, but he surely now has the bit between his teeth here. He wants to actually get him by the chicane.
Well, let's see if he can get into the slipstream. This is the long straight, the casino straight, and then they come into Amo's famous wall. He do like this. Let's get onto the roll bar just to see how close he can get. Ooh, gosh, they get close to that wall, don't they?
Absolutely. In fact, for Josh, a bit too close that he touched it and flipped. Luckily for him, that was in qualifying. If he does in the race, that will be curtains for him.
Okay, let's look a little bit further down. Josh Thomas is the man in P5. He's got a bit of a air between both him of Luke Bannister in P4 and Caelan Chin in P6. In fact, there is Josh Thomas, who came 3rd in qualification. He's into the points once again, but we did expect him maybe to be near the top.
In fact, we expect all the Australians to dominate this again. So, if we get a replay of what happened to Mika Hakimi, this might have been actually... No, that's not Mika. Is it? Yeah, that is actually Mika that we're looking at. Whoa! He touched the wall of champions and spins! So that's another champion into the barriers. In fact, he is a champion of other racing leagues in Malaysia. So that's the 3rd victim of this wall of champions, and they all happen to be champions.
Mika Hakimi down into P9. Inigo Anton, we've not really mentioned Inigo, the best of the Filipinos. He's in P8 at the moment, but maybe struggling a little bit as he comes down onto this long straight, the casino straight. But look at that, he's got a long way ahead of him between Josh Perwin and Mika Hakimi behind him. But Inigo, let's see if he can make up any ground. Currently in P8, that'll be worth 8 points at the end of the day, but it's been a tough old season for Inigo so far. As he negotiates that one quickly, he goes through onto his lap number 8.
Yeah, in fact, he scored an 8th position that previous race as well, in the first race in Interlagos, and a 10th. So another top 10 finish for both races for Inigo. Just that is not enough to mount the championship challenge just by yet. But he probably is counting his lucky stars that he's not involved in any of the major collisions that we've seen so far.
No change up at the top where Ibrahim is still leading. Let's have a look at Joaquim Garrido. Joaquim Garrido, he's just behind Mika Hakimi, well, 5 seconds behind, and quite a way ahead of Dominic Ang as well. So Garrido looks like he's enjoying it, but he's in splendid isolation. No cars near or far for Joaquim Garrido.
Yeah, in fact, he's pretty much in no man's land right now. And we're on a man-made island, so it's almost like Gilligan's Island without the boat.
Very good. Now then, my favourites, Tengku Jan. Oh, gets a bit of rubber and drops down below Naki Baslan, who slides inside. Tengku Jan moves out of the point-scoring points there. He caused a massive collision on the start line last week. He said these Diallos can be very difficult to cope with.
Absolutely, and the fact that he didn't get the start right, it was that clutch slipping that we mentioned, and a lot of wheel spin that he carried off into another driver. He said that he was part of your generation, well, he was the pinball wizard that time round.
Lots of fun between Ivan Bantagiato and Arif Azmi as well. They're having a good little battle there. Let's go on board with Arif Azmi indeed, as Arif is just ahead of, is that Zini or Bantagiato?
Bantagiato, it was Bantagiato that he overtook. In fact, Zini's his teammate right up in front on the road. He just crossed the line. and he's still in 12th, while Azmi is about to cross the line. He just overtook Vantagiato. So what happened to Vantagiato there? We're not really sure. He just slowed down completely and let everyone through.
Well, there is Vantagiato. Arif Azmi in front of him. Nakib Aslan in P15. Well, I tell you what, Nakib is used to being at the top of races. Now he's just going to have to learn how to work with the rest of them as he goes around the outside. Arif Azmi, Vantagiato defends, and Nakib hasn't got the speed.
No, he doesn't, and the fact that he couldn't get a run around the outside there, that's not normally an overtaking spot, you know, because if you go around the outside there, you'll get into the marbles and smack the barriers. So Nakib trying an impossible move, shall we say, and Vantagiato, to his credit, defended quite well, and they are still in the race, thankfully. But Nakib then struggling here just to even get a point. In fact, he's just about getting a point in 15th. He definitely wants more here to recover, but is now a really sad situation in this first race.
It is, it's very difficult for him. Talking about good situations though, with 3.5 minutes to race, Mohamed Ibrahim, his lead is still 5 seconds over Miko Nassi. So there's our race leader, and this is Nassi, who is able to hold on, or can he? Alif has got himself in P3, and Alif is really close on the tail of Miko Nassi. Now this is a tail that we've seen many, many times before.
Yes, it's like the battle of the two veterans here, and they're veteran sim racing drivers who will not give each other an inch, but they will fight cleanly, I would say for sure, because I did say earlier that Alif will definitely try to overtake aggressively, but he does give a lot of racing room, so respect between these two guys might be high, but at this moment in time, they just want to focus on trying to get better of each other.
Once again, not quite able to get there as we have a look at Kalen Chin just being involved in a little incident. Smashing off the wall up the back, or...
no, he's coming through the first. Oh, the car jumped! Well, we've seen that quite a few times before in qualifying, especially with Josh Bowen that nearly getting 2 wheels at turns 8 and 9. He got it wrong there, and luckily for Chin, he only lost out 1 position, and it was to Josh Bowen.
I think it was Perwin. Yeah, he did. So Perwin goes through. Let's get back to this battle for P2 once again. Good instant going on down here. I see what you mean about how claustrophobic it is. There's not been a lot of overtaking, but there's been bags and bags of incidents.
Absolutely. And we have not seen any instances of drivers retiring from the World Champions just by yet. We're not wishing for that, but for the crowd at home, they might want to see it just like what happens in real life. And we mentioned earlier, 1999, Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, and Damon Hill all crashed there. And we had 3 champions so far hit the barriers. Pretty sure there'll be plenty more who have not put their names there just by yet.
And this is the straight where we could well get it. Alif in P3. Let's have a look at Nassi in P2. That's how close they are. Again, Alif doesn't seem to be able to get close enough on this long straight, Ammo.
Not a good run out of the Lapingle corner. In fact, turn 10 seems to be a bit of a struggle point for Alif. But the last 2 corners, look at that. Alif got a good run out of there. Miko might be a bit under pressure here coming to turn 1 and 2. They're going to go side by side. In fact, Alif nearly got a run on him, but Nassi holds on to it firmly well and defends cleanly.
Behind them, there's a good battle going on between Josh Thomas and Luke Bannister as well. Let's get on board with Luke Bannister to see if he has the opportunity to get closer into Josh Thomas. This is the battle for P4. Luke Bannister in the red, in P5 at the moment. Thomas has done well. He overtook him earlier on. As I can tell you, Arif Azmi has grasped, but the battle for the lower placings in 2 and 4 are really going on here. Thomas and Bannister, an all-Aussie battle in the Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Montreal.
And I'm surprised that Thomas actually lost ground on Ali, because he was right up to his rear wing at one point to actually overtake him. Now he's actually fallen way behind, and he's into the clutches of Bannister. Bannister then trying his best to actually get around his fellow Aussie. But look at that, good defending again from the drivers. They know where to place the cars and not get any room for the other drivers behind to overtake. Oh, a bit of weaving there, should be fine according to race stewards, but any more than that, they might warrant a warning.
Let's have a look at the battle ahead of them. This as they come into the corner. This time they'll be coming into the final lap.
Yep, final lap of the race. And in fact, look at that. 3, 2 and 3, 4 and 5 together in one shot, and they're battling for positions. As again, Nassi holds on to the inside, as does Joshua Thomas. So the drivers who are in 2nd and 4th there doing the defensive job, and they're trying their best to prevent the drivers from behind to attack them.
Miko Nassi has been in 2nd place since the very, very start of this race, but he's not been under any more pressure than he is now. Alif is going to have a real go on this lap, last lap, Ammo.
Yeah, good battle between these two drivers. It's really intimidating to see. But look at that. Hamilton actually, sorry, call it Hamilton, but Alif gets a good run out of turn 7. Can he get around the outside? No. But does Nasi leave the rope in at the braking? Just about saves it. And now they're going to go side by side, coming out to Lepingle in turn 10.
Alif looks to try to get on the inside. Nasi defends, and Nasi just holds on the line ahead of them. I can tell you that the race is going to be won by Mohammed Ibrahim. Ibrahim heading into a victory for his second of the season. It'll be Ibrahim with the victory. Nasi just able to hold on, or is he? Nasi holds on for P2. No, Alif has got through into P2. Alif has got ahead of Nasi, and Nasi is going backwards. Nasi all on the medium is going backwards. Alif 2, Thomas 3. Oh, is that that's over the finish line, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And the fact that we need a replay of what happened between Nasi and Alif there. There might have been a slight touch. We need to get confirmation. But what happened to Nasi there? Completely lost momentum in the last corner, and he got pipped on the line by his teammate Joshua Thomas, and nearly got nicked also by Luke Bannister.
Well, the one thing that is out of doubt is that Mohammed Ibrahim has won the race. So I'm assuming Alex will want to speak to Mohammed Ibrahim because he led from start to finish, Alex.
Absolutely. Great win by Ibrahim. Look at that. He's sweating. Ibrahim, wow, that looked like a tougher race. I mean, from here it looked pretty easy, but I can see how much you've been sweating. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's quite tough, you know, this track. You know, it's not easy. You can see everybody else also it's quite tough for them as well, you know, because everyone during the race drops a lot of pace, so you can see it's quite difficult, you know. It's not easy to keep the car on the track.
Yeah, but I mean, great pacer. Your fastest lap was half a second quicker than anyone else. You've just simply nailed this car, haven't you? Straight away from the first corner, you were just gone. What is it about this car that you like so much?
I mean, to be honest, it's not the car. I mean, I've always liked any car on iRacing especially, so it's not because I've been quick on other Formula cars and GT cars as well. So I believe I just maybe like iRacing.
Yeah, you are an iRacing specialist. Well, congratulations. Obviously, round 2 coming. Race 2 coming, sorry. We didn't have a great race 2 in round 1, did you, with the reverse grid race? What's your strategy for race 2 today?
Yeah, main thing is to not have any incidents with anyone, so I can finish the line without getting a drive through or things like that.
Okay, well, you'll be glad to know top 11 are reversed. Not as much as last weekend, so hopefully it will go well.
It should be interesting. Mohammed Ibrahim, I got a question for you as well, my friend. This is identical to last week. You fastest in qualifying, fastest in race 1. There was a comment on our Facebook feed from Mohammed Hafiz saying, your speed today is like Lewis Hamilton in 2020. Do you think your performance was better for this than it was in Interlagos so far?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's better. It's difficult to compare because it's a different track and, you know, people are driving. So it's impossible to tell that it's better. I'll just say it's as good.
Well, definitely the results will speak for that. Mohammed Ibrahim, thank you very much for that, sir. And good luck for race 2 later on, okay?
Yep, thank you, everyone.
Good luck.
Okay, Alex, we're just going to go to the results in just a moment, but a quick comment. What happened at the end? That thrilling battle for P2.
Wow, what a great battle for P2. I mean, I missed it actually because I was looking down on the Facebook feed, checking out the comments. But yeah, it looks like Mika made a mistake in the last corner and lost 2 positions. You know, that's going to be tough. That's 2 races in a row now. He's lost a lot of points on the last couple of laps. He'll be disappointed with that. But he's just got to forget about it now and focus on race 2 today.
That was literally the final lap. We'll have a further analysis of that and other key moments from the later on. But let's pass it back over to Des for the unofficial results.
Yeah, there are protests, no doubt, on their way. Here are the unofficial results, though. Ibrahim taking his second win of the season, 6.5 seconds, 7 seconds clear of Alif, who picked up his first podium of this season, and Josh Thomas. Miko Nasi will have to find out what happened to Miko because he was leading that battle for P2, and another high position finish for Luke Bannister, and Josh Perwin getting the better of Kalen Chin in P6. Inigo Anton, the best of the Filipinos, in P8 ahead of Mika Hakimi. Joaquim Garrido in P10. Points right the way down to 15, where Alistair Young had a good finish and got himself into P15 just behind Tunku John Lay. Nakib, we saw his problems in 13. Mohamed Zini 12 and Dominic Ang 11. 15-point scorers. Tough day at the office for Aaron Lim and Keithley Offman and Ivan Vantagiato. These results are brought to you by Evo Club Car Insurance with ProManage.
Thank you very much for that, Des. Tell you what, I need to catch my breath. I genuinely do. We're going to go for a quick break. We'll give a further analysis. We'll take a deeper look at the car as we count down the minutes till we get the next race. Stay tuned.
When I switched to pro mileage, I got 47% of savings.
I paid 790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was 1,290. Pro mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking for mileage. I say, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
If I was to say the name Dallara to anyone involved in motorsports, I think they all would know exactly what I'm talking about.
Dallara is the biggest chassis manufacturer in motorsports.
They're one of the most iconic brands, and they've been involved in every major championship in the world. They've been in Formula 1, IndyCar, World Endurance Championship, Formula 2, Formula 3, the whole lot. They are Italian, and they have been the geniuses behind iconic cars for many drivers around the world.
So we'll be using the IR01 Dallara for the most of the season, 6 rounds out of 8.
Is basically iRacing and Dallara's combined efforts to create their own version of what I could comfortably say is a Formula 1 car.
Well, Dallara, I think the drivers will be very used to it, and so I'm expecting no real problems for the drivers to get to grips with that.
It's a really fun car to drive.
It looks super futuristic, also looks really aggressive.
It has a very nice V10 engine in it.
The sound that you get from it, it reminds you of the classic F1 cars. It's just amazing to hear again.
Next thing is its grip levels, its aerodynamics. You can take, quite a lot of speed into a lot of the corners.
And it's 900 horsepower.
Incredibly quick, a lot of downforce.
It's like what any driver dreams of driving.
The biggest skills that a driver would need will really be their sensitivity on their right foot.
This car has no ABS or traction control.
Small mistake costs you a lot.
You can't just go through a corner at a comfortable speed, you have to push the car.
Because it's very easy to lock up the front tires, especially when you enter the slow corners. It's just so difficult to control with the wheel spin, but it just rewards you once you get it right.
Lots of downforce, lots of wings means a lot of turbulent or dirty air.
And it's also quite tricky to set up because it has a lot of understeer and it also has a lot of oversteer on exits as well.
The movement of the car is very, very responsive, very sharp. You can get a lot of oversteer out of nowhere. So if you don't have good reaction times, it might be too late before you can catch it. Much more difficult to drive than the FRX 17, but us drivers, we like to be challenged.
It's just a very, very fun car to drive, and I am going to like this season a lot.
Yeah, I probably think, to be honest, medium. 57.
Guest witness certainly strikes me as a very high risk, high reward sort of vehicle. Des and Ammo, are you there to talk with me here?
Certainly am. Alex was just checking. There was, I believe, there was a complaint coming in, so he was just checking one or two of the things going on there. But talk to us. We will give you the. Yeah, and Alex is back now.
Alex is back. So the question I was asking Alex is the high risk, high reward of this car, because we've talked about how sensitive it is before the race started. So now we've seen it in action on the circuit.
Yeah, especially for the boys who are not used to this sort of car. A lot of, the iRacing specialists, I think they have no issue. But a lot of the guys on the grid, you can see that they're still getting used to it, especially the starts, spinning at the start as well. So trying to get the traction down with the car going forward is quite a key part of it. So going okay today, though. You can see that everyone's raised their level a little bit. We haven't seen any cars go off. We're going to have a rolling start for race 2. And it'll be interesting to see what that happens there.
Okay, let's have a little recap of the key incident. I think the biggest takeaway, apart from how well Mohammed Ibrahim did at the start and finish, would be that battle for P2 and what happened with Miko right at the end again. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, and let's have a look at this. We'll have a look at the replay hopefully in a second. But let's have a look at, here we go, down the back straight. Got Miko Nasi there. The video should be playing at the moment. Oh, looks to be frozen. But maybe we'll come back to that. Oh, no, it's going now. There we go. See, Miko Nasi defends on the inside, heading to the last corner. That's perfectly fine. Then breaking the last corner. Oh, he runs wide. Just break too late. Oh, wow. And that cost him all that momentum out of the last corner, which then allowed his teammate to pip him at the line as well. So he lost a chunk of points there. Miko just out-braking himself, but he had to brake late because, Alif is going to try and go around the outside. Fair play. Had to make it work. But just, like, by a foot, just braking it late by a foot, locked up the wheels and couldn't make the corner.
Literally, on the final lap, having been in P2 throughout, 14 minutes and 50 seconds, let's say. I can't remember the exact time the incident occurred. It's astounding. But so anyway, let's get some of the drivers in for an interview. We'll speak to Miko in just a moment because we have the man he was battling with, which is Alif, to talk us through his recollection of the race. Because Alif, your concentration on your face told a story in itself. That was challenging. That was exhausting for you.
Yeah, it was good fun, for you guys. I hope it was good fun for you. Good fun for me, finally figuring out the game and figuring out the car. And yeah, I'm just glad that you guys had a good show to watch.
Certainly, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to watch. I mean, coming down the last lap, Alif, into the last corner, you're on the outside. What were you thinking at that point? You think you're just going to try and outbrake him, or you knew that Miko was going to outbrake himself?
I just didn't want to touch Miko, to be honest, because I was in a good position. Miko's in a good position. I didn't really want to, get us spun around. So, I was just trying to keep it clean, but I think the net code kind of spun Miko or kind of tagged Miko, which I think it was a racing incident. But yeah, just happy with the 1-2, for Flash. It's the first time this season and just very happy.
I think it's your first 1-2 since perhaps round 1 of season 1. So congratulations, it's been a while. Yeah, I mean, so what happens now for the next race? I mean, you're going to start P10. What's the strategy there? You've had great starts so far.
Yeah, but it's rolling starts this time, so it's a bit different. Can't really capitalize on the standing starts, but I'm going to try to speak my way through the battle and see where we end up in the race and just try to adapt from there.
Awesome. Adam, anything?
No, that's it.
That's
Want to
it.
wish you the best of luck. It feels like redemption for you this race, and good luck in the final one for the day, okay?
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. You'll be extremely happy, Alex. I do want to talk about how you're operating with the rolling start and the reverse grid, but we'll say that for later on because I think we have to bring in Mikko Nassi into the conversation. We spoke to him last week after the final race. We're speaking to you again today. Disappointment for you? It must be nothing else.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying. It was second until the very end, and then dropping to fourth. But fortunately, at least one of the guys who overtook me was Joshua, my teammate. So not all bad. Could have been worse.
Do you want to talk us through the race? Because you got intense pressure for the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, lap one, I already unfortunately made a mistake that allowed Ibrahim to get pretty much out of draft range, and then fortunately we had a bit more straight line speed than Alif. So early in the race, I wasn't worried at all, really, because I would have had to make a big mistake. So I was mainly just focusing on keeping smooth. But then, yeah, towards the end, I killed my tires, I think, a little bit before Alif, and yeah, then he was able to challenge, had to start defending, and yeah, just unfortunate then. Fired with a little bit left, and we had a tiny bit of net code.
Tiny bit of net code. Anyway, it's a reverse grid race now. What's the plan?
Yeah. Wouldn't mind a standing start now, since I got a decent start in race one. But yeah, plan will be to check the weather first, and then make a decision on tires. But I think it'll be pretty similar for everyone. Soft.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Mikko,
Anything, Adam?
I'm glad you still have a smile on your face.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see that. Best of luck in the final one for today, okay?
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Alex, 15 minutes, a lot of drama. Why don't you talk us through some of the key highlights?
Yeah. All right, let's go through the highlights. Yeah. So, Mohamed Ibrahim had a great start. Look at that start. Goodbye flash 1-2 into turns 1 and 2. Then this, Joshua Thomas tagged Nakib Aslan. Bit of netcode there, so I don't think anything was going to happen there. Nakib then had to fight back, I think, for a drive-through as well, so from the very back. So not a very good race for him, although he did qualify P5. Then Mikko Nassi absorbing all this pressure from Alif. And Alif finally good, looking to the outside, then look at that. Ooh, Mikko just outbraked himself just a touch. Allowed Alif through to P2 for a flash 1-2. With there's a shot of Ibrahim winning as well. So with Thomas and Bannister in P3 and 4.
Mohamed Ibrahim picking up the maximum points, 27 for fastest lap as well. Ali for P2 for him, a flash 1-2. Safe house 3-4. Nassi just holding off Luke Bannister as well, who had another top 5 finish ahead of Josh Berwin. Kalen Chim, we saw he and Berwin had a right old battle. Inigo Anton, best of the rest for GT Radial Eurasia ahead of Mika Hakimi in P10. Joaquim Garrido confirming P10 for GT Radial Eurasia.
Thank you very much for that. Let's start to preview what we can expect. What are the differences in the reverse grid for this week, Alex, as opposed to last week?
Okay.
Rolling starts and all of that.
So, I mean, depends where you're at. I mean, from Des's point of view, he loved the carnage around in race 2. I don't like the carnage so much. I like it a little bit, not as much as Des. So, because a lot of, when you do a reverse grid race, a lot of more inexperienced drivers at the front were spinning at the start. So what we've done is we're going to have a rolling start for race 2. I know Des doesn't like it, but it should allow for a more sedate start, shall we say. Although we have to worry about turn 1, turn 2. Turn 1, turn 2, this is that traffic jam that's going to be there.
Okay, well, you pulled rank by having that reverse grid in the format that you've wanted instead of what Des would like to see. Anyway, we've talked plenty about what we've seen, and now all that's left is the main race of the day. The reverse grid, all 30 minutes of action is next here. Stay tuned.
When I switched to pro mileage, I got 47% of savings.
I paid 790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was 1,290. Pro mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking for mileage. I said, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
up next, the last race of the day in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is also known for its Wall of Champions on the exit of the final chicane, where world champions like Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve crash during the Canadian Grand Prix. While the drivers and teams are currently getting ready, who do you think will win the final podium today? Stay on the edge of your seats as the race will be starting very shortly.
Amanda picking out the Wall of Champions on the E1 Championships, the Premier Sim Racing Championship. Shout out to our sponsors, Evo Club Car Insurance with Pro Mileage. Save 40% off your next car insurance renewal. EvoClubCarInsurance.com. Okay, so race 1 has seen Mohammed Ibrahim fly away. Race 2 sees Mohammed Ibrahim right the way down in P11. The top... that's not the starting grid, I'm afraid. Let me just talk you through the starting grid. I can tell you that the starting grid will have Dominic Ang on the front row of the grid alongside Joaquim Garrido, Mika Hakimi and Inigo Anton will be on 3rd and 4th. Kalen Chin 4th and 5th. Slight apologies there. That's how it should look. The one that we had just top left of your picture then, as Alex moves into screen. Live television, don't you love it? Okay, the race is 1 minute away. It will be a rolling start, much to Mr. Alex Young's. There you go. That's called karma, Alex Young, what just happened there. So the safety car will be out just to guide us through. Dominic Ang in the green, Joaquim Garrido alongside him. They'll do a full lap of the circuit. And Amo, what problems does this cause for the racers?
Well, it depends on whoever actually is controlling the pace, because in this case is the guy at the front, which is Dominic. He'll control the pace at the front. But if he gets it wrong and other drivers start piling up to each other, then as we will see a rolling start going horribly wrong. So let's hope that everyone will stay patient and try to do this IndyCar style start as calmly as possible.
You can't overtake. They've got to wait for the green flag. Dominic Ang is the man who is on pole position. There is Dominic Ang, and he has got away off to a really, really good start. It's this first corner, though, that's going to cause a traffic jam as we work with Dominic Ang behind him. It looks like everybody has got away safely, but Dominic has got away to an absolute flyer. That's terrific stuff from Dominic Ang. Oh, and behind him there is a problem.
Mika.
It is Mika Hakimi who is out. Spins out Mika Hakimi, spins back in. He didn't take any collateral damage with him. Inigo Anton has got himself up into P3, and Josh Perwin up to 4. Alif has done well up to P6. Let's have a look. Here is Mika Hakimi, just tags the car in front.
Yeah, he tagged one of the Filipino cars, which I think is Garrido. So he tapped the back of Garrido and sent the car spinning. So that's quite weird, because normally the car in front will end up spinning. In this case, the car behind spins. So Mika then so unfortunate to be caught up by that, and now he's got a lot of recovery work to do.
I believe there was a problem for Alif Hamilton as well, because he was getting up into P4. He's dropped down here to P5. Doesn't seem to be any damage on his car at the moment. He's got Josh Perwin ahead of him, Luke Bannister behind him. The man who we all really ought to be looking at, though, is this fella, Mohammed Ibrahim, who run race number 1. He's got himself up into P8 by the end of lap number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we're going to get more replays here. Whoa, Jan gets flipped off. Oh, my word. That is an absolutely big shot. And somehow the car still kept on going. So he got flipped there. These cars, as we've seen before, is easy to flip. We saw Josh Perwin nearly flip there at 9 and 8. And now Jan there got hit by somebody, so we didn't see who. But he completely went turtle and went right side up at the end.
And while we were watching Tunku Jan give us a Tunku Jan highlight, Josh Perwin has got past Garrido and Dominic Ang, and as is in the front. So Josh Perwin is leading. Joaquim Garrido and Alif up to P3. Inigo Anton drops behind him. Alif has been in problems.
Oh, dang, that is a big accident, actually. And I wish we could get a replay of that. What happened to Dominic as well? That he lost completely a few positions. Alif goes on the inside. That's the overtaking that he tried. The aggressive move that he always does to actually gain position. Nearly takes out Ibrahim in the process. What is going on here? Everyone, calm yourselves, please.
Well, Mohamed Ibrahim is the man who's in front of him, and Ibrahim has got himself up into P6. Alif has been as high as 3, as low as 7. Now he's currently in P7 as we follow him. Behind him, Naqib Aslan's made a decent start as well. Naqib has got himself up into P8. Up front, though, Josh Berwin, 2 seconds clear, and only Inigo Anton has been able to go along with him. Anton carries Luke Bannister as we look at the battle here for P2. Best of the Philippines, Inigo Anton, Luke Bannister in P3.
Oh man, we need to calm ourselves down a bit from that start. But yes, Anton there from pretty much out of nowhere, I think, because Anton, yeah, he was in 4th place at the start of the race, made his way up to 2nd, and we need a replay of what happened to the 2 incidents that led up to him being in 2nd right now, which was Dominic Ang losing the lead. And this very corner, 8 and 9, just now we saw a car up in the air, which I think was Alif's car. We really need to find out what happened there just now. But at the moment, at least, 2nd place for Anton. He is under severe pressure from Luke Bannister, the preliminary championship leader right now.
There is Luke Bannister as he looks. Now is he close enough to get into the slipstream? You just need to. Oh, he's going to make a move there. Bannister moves on the outside. Inigo Anton can't really defend, and as they come into the chicane and the champions wall, Bannister moves imperiously behind his teammate Josh Berwin into P2. These two, Amo, are looking in really good nick.
Absolutely, Des, and the fact that Black Ops Racing themselves are looking in really good nick after ending season 1 really disappointingly. They've come out of the box fighting, and now they're really trying to take the championship both in drivers and teams by storm.
The difference with this race too, that rolling start didn't produce the carnage we expected. Later on it did, but it didn't produce it early on. But Miko Nasi, he is worthwhile having a look at, because Nasi, after being robbed of P2 in race number 1, or sorry, denied a P2 in race number 1 by his late braking, he's got himself up into P4 in race 2. That's a solid effort from Nasi, because he started down on the 4th row of the grid.
Absolutely, and the fact that 4th place right now is kind of like a bit of pleasing circularity, we can safely say, but that's not what he wanted. That number on his car right now, number 2, was where he should have been in race 1, and a bit of netcode, as what Alif said, send him backwards to 4th place, but he can't dwell on that for long. He needs to defend here from Mohamed Ibrahim, who really is looking on fire here today.
Yeah, Mohamed Ibrahim is the man who won race 1 by a mile. He's here in P5. He maybe doesn't like getting involved in so much of the traffic, but he is so seriously quick. Kalen Chin is the man who's just behind, as we are on board here with now, let's have a look at Alif. Is this the earlier incident?
Yep.
Yeah, Alif just trying to brake late. It's fun to watch as Alif, isn't it?
Absolutely, and the fact that he wanted to do this thing that I've mentioned before. He will actually go for aggressive moves, but I didn't expect him to go for a lunge that deep. He might have outbraked himself, and he happened to actually just counter upon his teammate coincidentally and nearly took him out of the race. So Ibrahim lucky there to walk away without any much damage.
Ibrahim is currently in P5, chasing Miko Nasi. Miko Nasi currently holding on to P4, but that'll be becoming increasingly difficult, because Ibrahim is seriously quick. Tries to go around the inside, and Mohamed Ibrahim moves into P4 ahead of Nasi. Cute little overtaking maneuver.
Oh, Nasi, what does Nasi have to do to get away from a flash car? He had to deal with that at the end of race 1, now he has to deal with it in race 2. But looks like Ibrahim's gotten the move done. He tried to switch back at him and tried to get him at the straight. Unfortunately, nothing to do it there. Now he's going to have to defend here from Kaylee Chin and Alif. So he's going to meet with Alif again for the 2nd race.
Behind them, that's a clever old move there coming in from Kalen Chin, I think it was, who's trying to get on the inside of Miko Nasi. So Nasi, having defended for so long in P4, is under pressure for P5 from Kalen Chin. It's a tough old time for, well, this is Kalen Chin in P6, it's Alif behind him, and Naqib Aslan has quietly got himself up into P8. So some good drives so far, as Kalen feels the pressure from Alif.
And looking at quintessential quintuplets here, 5 drivers that we are touting to be contenders for the championship together on the road. One guy's gotten away with it, which is that was definitely like. But Ibrahim's gotten away with it. Chin is involved, Alif's involved, and now Naqib's up as Chin. Is that Kalen trying to go on the inside? No, that's actually Alif going onto the inside of Kalen and takes away 5th place from Kalen. So now Kalen has to defend here from Naqib, and in fact, did we lose one driver? I think because that one driver that went in the end looked exactly like Nasi.
Miko Nasi is out. Miko Nasi is out, And there is why Miko Nasi is out. He has disappeared and is off the... Oh, what a tough, tough day for Miko Nasi. There he is, stranded in the pits.
Oh, you got to fear for him. I really do, to be honest, because he nearly got put in that first race and had to be taken up by, I think, a bit of desync, we call it in gaming, because he just synced out of the internet for a second and the car went flipping the air. So he might have been sent somewhere into the St. Lawrence River for all we know, and he's now out of the race. Very unfortunate run for him. He's going to have to put this into the bin as well.
In the meantime, look at this from Josh Purwin. He has yet, would you believe, to win an E1 championship race. Josh Purwin, he's had 2 second places, 4 third places, and now it's very early. There's still 22 minutes to race, but he is in a fine position. He's a second clear of his teammate, Luke Bannister. So it's looking good for Black Wolf once again. Black Art, sorry.
Yeah.
Black Art.
Two black teams with the name black in the weather. But yeah, anyway, Josh is in really good position right now. He definitely can break the duck here today. Unlike Sebastian Vettel, who nearly ran into a pair of seagulls back in 2016, he can break his duck here right now to claim his first win. And what a better time to do it than on his favorite sim racing platform, which is iRacing.
Well, they are the front 4. It's all pretty tight, and Inigo Anton, to his credit, has done well to hold on to the tail end of the 2 Black Art racing cars. Apologies. And so Black Art's leading the way. This is a beautiful circuit, isn't it? Particularly these helicopter and the blimp shots. They show the beauty of it. But the drivers are focusing on getting and staying on the black stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, Des. And the fact that with the trees around him, it just becomes a bit claustrophobic, especially the fact that the trees also cast a shadow. It's like the Nürburgring back in the 60s, where you had no walls on the other side. It's the trees that you use as a marker. In this case, the walls are around and the trees are up above them. It just creates a sort of tunnel vision when you go through the circuit.
E1 Championship, a virtual championship. But my word, it's looking pretty good. Behind them, Mohammed Ibrahim has got himself happily into P4. Let's have a look and see if Ibrahim is able to just make any move on Inigo Anton, who I'm really impressed with Anton. He has been able to stay the pace of those front 2 and has not been dropped by the Black Arts team.
Absolutely. In fact, I thought for a second after Bannister overtook Anton's going to lose track of him and get overtaken by Ibrahim. But no, he's actually sandwiched and he's getting into the thick of it. This is definitely going to be his standout race here. He knows that now. He's got to face to challenge the best of the best here on this platform.
Mohammed Ibrahim is the man who's in P4 for Team Flash. He's bottom right of your screen. Winner of race 1 last week, winner of race 1 this week, fastest in qualifying on both occasions. Clearly an iRacing expert. But Inigo Anton is defending well at the moment. These 4 are breaking clear. Alif Hamilton is the best of the rest. He's in P5, but he's nearly 3.5 seconds down as we just wait for Alif to come through the picture now.
Oh, that's a big gap, you know. 3 seconds almost, in fact, between himself and his teammates. So Alif here, another chastening race, shall we say? Despite, yes, he had a podium in that first race, but still, again, he's way behind his teammate. He's nowhere in contention right now against Ibrahim.
He's got Kalen Chin and Nakib Aslam for company, as so often in the E1 season. Let's go back up to the race leader, Josh Purwin. We tend not to give the race leaders the care and attention they deserve, but Josh is lapping very, very nicely at 1:12.38. Sorry, a 1:12.47 his last lap, a 1:12.38 his previous lap. Consistency, consistency, consistency.
Yep, the C's that you would definitely want to hear, and the fact that now, look at that, all 4 together. So we're never not gonna move away from this battle. And tell you what, Anton here, I think he's got a bit of that speed here thanks to the helmet that he's wearing right now. In fact, what I can spy is it looks like Michael Schumacher's 1991 helmet where he made his debut for Jordan.
Well, let's go and have a look. Inigo Anton, come in. Let's see what you're doing. There he is in P3, although he will come under pressure in just a second from him.
Yep, it is. It is Michael Schumacher's helmet from 91. So nice bit of symmetry there to pay homage to 30 years that a legend for Formula 1 has actually made his debut. Now, look at this. This is a really good run from Anton. He is in the thick of it. Oh, slides out a bit from turn 10. Kept it together. Now he's going to have to stave out the pressure from Mohammed Ibrahim.
Yeah, Mohammed Ibrahim fancies the opportunity just to maybe get in close. He's close enough in the slipstream. Tries to get on the inside. Inigo can't. Oh, he overcooks that. Massively goes into the pits. Now, was that a deliberate pit stop?
I don't know. I'm actually quite perplexed. Yes, it is actually.
Wow.
It looks like a pit stop. So he is coming in now, and he is one of the very first runners to do so on the medium tires. Would you believe it?
That is so early. I wasn't even thinking about it for another 5 minutes. So Mohammed Ibrahim into the pits. Meantime, Josh Perwin leads. What's happened to Inigo Anton? Has he been dropped a little bit? The answer is kind of. He's dropped off maybe a second off the pace of the Blackhearts front two.
Yeah, the fact that I think the Blackheart drivers are working together here to keep each other slipstream. So Perwin and Bannister might be communicating with each other here to pull the gap on Anton. And with that little mistake that Anton had coming out of the hairpin, it's enough to give them a second advantage over the guy in third place right now. But crucially though, they can also afford to actually just back off the pace a bit slightly to not really pressure each other.
Okay, let's just move away from that front three and let's see what's going on a little bit further down. Josh Thomas has got himself into P7, but he's rather in a race of his own. Behind him, Joaquim Garrido and Mika Hakimi having a bit of fun, two youngsters. So Thomas is in P7 as Alif goes into the pits as well. Now let's see what they come out on. Ibrahim has come out on mediums. Alif into the pits. This is surely very early, Amel.
Very, very early. In fact, they stopped even before the halfway point, so they might just go into... No, it's medium tires as well. So, yeah, quite perplexingly early. A bit of a curveball strategy here from the Flash team. We normally see that from Stratos, but I think because they're so confident on these tires, they want to get a bit of clean air.
I can tell you that Miko Nassi hasn't given this race up, although he dropped out massively. He's down in P18 at the moment, but he is on soft compound tyres. I think he's saying, fastest lap.
Fastest lap. There's no way doubt about it. And at least unlike in Formula 1, where you need to be in the top 10 to score fastest lap, you can be anywhere you want on the track, so long as you finish the race and you can get the fastest lap. So, yeah, Nassi here. A bit of a hopeless situation right now, but at least he got someone for company. And this is in the form of, I think, Kifli Hoffman. So it is Kifli that he's actually battling for position on the road, but not for position on track.
Yeah, we haven't given much love and attention to Kifli Hoffman. Here he is as he comes through. He's in P17 at the moment. Tunku John is due a crash, I think. Let's have a look at Tunku. He's in P13 at the moment. He gave us a spectacular finale in race 2 last week. He's given a spectacular finish to his race in race 1 today. But he's learning. He's saying he's learning on this iRacing game all the time, and look at the concentration bottom right.
Yep, well, iRacing, well, we can't call it game, we have to call it sim because we don't want to get on the bad end of the iRacing folk. But yes, he is constantly learning, and despite that big melee that he caused in Interlagos and that big crash he had in race 1, he's driving quite well. In fact, look at that, on the brakes just in time to prevent himself from getting a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Luke Bannister is the race leader out on the circuit. Anton is right behind him. Now, neither of these two have gone into the pits. Josh Perwin has. So Bannister leads, but Anton is really piling on the pressure. Everybody on the medium compounds. Zini and Othman on hard. Miko Nassi on soft, looking for fastest lap.
Whoa! Big accident! And looks like Luke Bannister has actually been hit by Anton. Anton there misjudged the braking. He actually wanted to go straight into the pits, and Bannister's been whacked out. In fact, look at that. Further behind, that looks like Nakib's actually spun it for the second time at the Wall of Champions. We need a replay of that one. That was a pivotal moment in the race.
Well, Nakib Aslan did spin. He's in P3. Anton is in the pits, but he caught Luke Bannister, and that is a key moment. But Bannister has been able to recover and stay out, but that will seriously hurt his chances.
Yeah, in fact, remember, prior to the stops, Josh was ahead, Bannister in second. He is trying to chase after his teammate. If I would look at a replay of what happened to Nakib as well, further behind. Let's see, comes into the wall of Champions corner. Did he hit it? Yes, he has hit it this time. So, second time in a row that second time in 2 races that he's hit the barrier, and it happened to be the Wall of Champions.
Well, if you're going to hit a Wall of Champions. But Nakib Aslan is now, he's second place out on the circuit. Bannister, though, was just tagged and has recovered really well by Inigo Anton. Now, Anton has come out. He's in 4th place. He's come out after his pit stop with Mohammed Ibrahim. Now then, this is Luke Bannister. This is where he was tagged, just by Inigo. Oh!
Now Now that might just be a misunderstanding because I think Anton might have thought that Bannister was going to the pits, and likewise Bannister thought that, well, maybe Inigo was trying to be of a late break, so they didn't anticipate each other's closing speed, and that was the inevitable result. So I think Anton's going to get a penalty for that, regardless if it was intentional or unintentional. That caused both of their races.
At the moment, Naqib Haslan is having fun out there because he's leading the race, but he hasn't had a pit stop. The effective race leader, after everybody has been in for the pits, will be Josh Perwin. Josh is 15 seconds down on Naqib Haslan. Indeed, let's move away from Naqib because he'll enjoy this moment in the spotlight, but there is Josh Perwin, and he's got Anton not too far behind him. That is the situation. That's not Anton immediately behind him. That's a car he's lapped. Is that Vantagiato?
That looks like one of the flash cars, I think. Or is it a safe house car? Yeah, that is actually a safe house car. So that could be Mikko Nassi that he's just overtaken.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Nassi has indeed set the fastest lap, a 1:11.58. Oh no, Ibrahim's 1:11.56. Gosh, Ibrahim faster on medium compounds than Nassi is on soft.
Yeah, they follow the clear quickly, don't they, the soft tyres? In fact, Nassi also had to deal with back markers. Well, not his back markers, but people who he would have been back markers. He had traffic to deal with, and unfortunately he didn't get a lap in to actually set the fastest lap. So Ibrahim then gonna steal points from him even there. So right now for where Nassi is, he's gonna score no point in the second race.
Here is Naqib Haslan, still the man leading out on the circuit. It's a case of how long he will trust those tyres to stay out there. He does have to come in. A pit stop is compulsory. But he's got nothing to lose, Naqib, has he? Got nothing to lose. Drive these tyres until they're bald and then maybe get on softs.
Yeah, indeed. And he was right up in the top 10, you know, by the end of the first lap. So he might just have a bit of a half chance here to get more points out of it. But it has been an absolutely tough couple of rounds here for Naqib in his quest to try to reclaim his championship.
Well, this will tell us whether or not he's going to go into the pits because he's on the casino straight before the wall that he's kissed a couple of times already in homage to the champions, although not deliberately. Let's see if the camera will catch him giving it a 3 kisses for good luck. No, straight into the pits.
Yep. And tell you what, that strategy that we see from Stratos is coming here as well. He's pitting as late as possible to get the best possible chance to get fresher tyres towards the end of the race. As we see, well, that's not Ibrahim, isn't it?
Josh Perwin.
That's Perwin. Yeah, that is. No, I mean, we're looking at the car behind that. It's still Nassi. So Perwin is still staying in front of Nassi, but further behind, Ibrahim has actually overtaken Anton. So this is crucial here, whether or not Perwin, who is in the net race lead, in fact, he is in the race lead now after Naqib went to the pits. He has to hold on here for dear life because he's one of the early pitters as well. In fact, lap 13. So yeah, he's gonna have to hold off Mikko Nassi here for the race win. In fact, we look behind. Here's a replay. Yeah, that's Ibrahim overtaking Anton around the outside. Clean as well. So Anton, they're not giving much a fight against the top guys. He just wants to finish the race in a strong position.
I do like these replays that iRacing give us. Here is Mohammed Ibrahim in P2 at the moment. The gap is just over 2 seconds, but there's 9.5 minutes still remaining for Josh Perwin. Now we know Josh can be aggressive as a defensive driver, and he's going to need to be. He's got some back markers to negotiate first.
In fact, the first of those back markers he has gone through happens to be a championship rival as well, which is Mikko Nassi. So Nassi now turns the guy who's going to try to attack. He's not giving a minute here. In fact, look at that. Nassi's still pretty much close to his tail, so he's definitely not giving up this fight, even if it is for nothing. And, whoa, what happened to Nassi?
Alif has gone in and Nassi's off the track. Alif Hamilton has got himself ahead of Inigo Anton into P3. Yeah, Nassi has pulled out. I think he tried to get that fastest lap, didn't succeed. May well be changing for a second pit stop, perhaps.
A second set, another set of stops, I will reckon, to
well, there he is.
Take him to the end. There he is.
And indeed, second pit stop for Mikko Nassi up at the front. This is the battle that we will keep a very close eye on. We'll see if Ibrahim can get closer, and already he is 0.4 of a second faster on that last lap.
He's actually putting the hammer down now, trying to pick up the pace here. he might have been actually slightly distracted by seeing what should have been a rival, but actually is an actual back marker behind, chasing him. So might have been slightly distracted. Now that he's got clear air right in front and indeed a bit of a gap right behind him, he can try to put a hammer down and pull up a gap, at least to a comfortable distance where he's not going to be bothered by Ibrahim to score a W.
What I can see is that a certain Alif Hamilton is making moves as well. Inigo's Anton has lost a podium place, and Kalen Chin, sorry, that's, who's behind them? Is that Kalen Chin?
It is Kalen,
So Kalen Chin is now threatening. Let's have a look at Kalen, see if he's able to get close enough to Inigo Anton. So Anton, who was really, really competitive in the first period of the race, is finding it a little bit tougher in the second half, but it's still, he's looking for a good top 5 position.
Yeah, and in fact, that top 5 still on for this guy, Kalen Chin, as well. So Anton, while he was on the podium at one point and he actually was chasing the front 2 or the black cards guys, he is still maintaining the pace though. Amazingly, he's still within that top 5 shout. So anything were to happen between the guys in second and third, which is of course the 2 flash cars, and Kalen behind, he's actually is in a good position here to score a podium.
Let's have a little look back at Naki Baslan. He's had an interesting race. He has come out on soft compound tyres. P7 at the moment, 2.5 seconds down on Josh Thomas. Now, can you make soft compounds last for
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Yeah, he actually was one of the latest drivers to actually make a pit stop. So he's gone for the usual strategy where we see before in E1 that tried to go along with the hardest compounded tyre and then tried to finish it off in the shortest period of time with the softest. So the Stratos team here have gone for the curveball strategy that we've always seen before. And will it pay dividends? I kind of have my doubts, but Naki would definitely try to aim for the fast lap. Oh, he nearly loses it coming through the world champions. It would have been third time unlucky there if he actually hit it.
Wow, he is fun. Miko Nasi is out on soft compound tyres as well, as Othman goes into the pits. Now then, back to our race leader, Josh Berwin. That gap has closed. That gap has closed to within a second. Mohammed Ibrahim is looking for a race double here.
Indeed he is, and he's got a better opportunity here at a track that he actually kind of, you can safely say, likes, because he was actually fast from the get-go in qualifying, and slightly different setting compared to Interlagos, but nonetheless he's still mighty quick. And look at that, he's got more people for company, not just the guy in front of him, which is Powen, but the guy behind, Alif and Anton and Kalen Chin. Top 5 here within earshot of each other, and this is going to be a barnstorming finish in the last 5 minutes.
Well, let's see if Mohammed Ibrahim is able to make a move anytime soon. Josh Perwin, right, now he knows the pressure is on. Perwin would love this to be 2 minutes from the end. Instead, it's 5 and a bit minutes from the end. That is a lot of time that he's going to have to defend. Ibrahim, a little bit of rubber shown there from Ibrahim, but he has closed that gap inexorably and is looking for this win double, which will be Ibrahim's first win double in the E1 Championship.
Absolutely. In fact, that he had a tough time last time out in season 1, where he was in his not in his elements, to say the least, race room. But in this one, season 2, he's come to the box fighting, and he is fighting here to win this championship by storm. And looking at the tyre strategy, right, Ibrahim was one of the first drivers to pit around lap 11, while Josh was on lap 13. Josh, in theory, should have fresher tyres, 2 fresher tyres. He should be faster, but Ibrahim manages to close up. He goes on the inside, a bit late on the brakes there, and he loses it. Josh reclaims the position. They go for the switchback. Now it's going to be on the back straight here. Who's going to be bravest coming into the Wall of Champions?
On the back straight, that is Ibrahim, just edges his nose in front. Mohammed Ibrahim is the new race leader at Gilles Villeneuve circuit. They negotiate the Wall of Champions, and now then the lead belongs to Ibrahim. A Rin double is very, very much on the cards, and he's still got the fastest lap. It could be the perfect weekend at Gilles Villeneuve circuit for Mohammed Ibrahim.
We can safely say in French, because we're in the French part of Canada, the coup de grace for Ibrahim. He's gotten that move done. But I saw a back marker in front. That might actually prove to be a banana peel there. So we might have to wait and see whether or not Josh can actually battle back here, and will the back marker play an influence.
Okay, let's not ignore the fact that Mohammed Alif is still in this race as well. And here we go, Anton. Anton's pace. You know what? I keep writing him off. Inigo Anton keeps holding on to the tail end of the likes of Alif. That's the battle for P4. And they're not far behind. Is that a back marker in there
yes,
as well?
in fact, it's like one of the iRacing ERGP icons. And in fact, I think it might have been Keithley Hoffman. Is it Keithley or is it Tunkujan? It is Keithley Hoffman. So Keithley then might just be the potential banana skin here for the drivers who are fighting for the win.
Yeah, it is indeed. Let's get back to the front.
Oh!
Ibrahim!
Oh!
Caught! The back marker causes the problem for Mohammed Ibrahim. He loses 4 places and an almost certain race victory.
Oh, did I just say that he was a potential banana skin? And it was. He really slipped out of it and lost the race win by virtue of the fact that Keithley Hoffman didn't pay attention to his mirrors. Well, let's just safely say that was just a rookie mistake. Here we go again, coming through the final corner. Oh, that is so painful. He got on the side just for a second, and that was enough to send him nearly rolling it. Ibrahim will be absolutely incensed by that.
Keithley Hoffman, as we come back, here is Keithley, looking suitably, well, that's Ibrahim, looking very, very, very angry. Gotta say that. We've seen that anger before. And there he is. He's down in P5 now. Perwin, Alif, Anton, and Chin all zoom past him. And not far behind him is Josh Thomas. This could get worse and worse for Mohammed Ibrahim because he would have picked up damage there as well.
Yes, and in fact, unbelievably, for the second race 2 in a row, he gets taken out from a potentially winning position. What does he have to do to get a good second race here? This time he thought that he got a drop zone, but unfortunately, a back marker decided to knock on his door and just rip it away from him.
Something else has happened. Josh Perwin has had a big moment. And Inigo Anton is a run. Whoa!
Oh!
Look at that. Ali from Perwin have come together. There's the replay. iRacing. Superb coverage on iRacing. And Inigo Anton is the new race leader.
Oh, what a turnout for the books. And I think his mom Karen and his dad Carlos might be ecstatic. The house might have just created a little mini earthquake back in the Philippines. We did not expect this. And I did say to him, he looked really on form here. And the helmet of Michael Schumacher probably just gave him that look.
Well, Alif has been able to hold on to P2. Ibrahim, after his own catastrophe, is up into P3, and Perwin drops down to 5, and Naki Baslan up to 6. This is mental. This is great.
Oh my word. Oh my days. I've never seen a race like this before.
Last lap of the race.
Yes. So many potential drivers who could have won that race were out of it due to collisions, accidents, or whatever. This guy has gone through. The guy that we did not expect to actually be in the winning position, he is now. This is almost like John Lazy back in 1995. He is counting his lucky stars here today.
So there are 20 seconds to go on the timing. And Inigo Anton is the race leader. 5 seconds clear of Mohammed Ibrahim. And Alif has dropped out. Alif is in trouble. Clearly, he was massively hurt by that crash. So Alif Hamilton drops out of a podium position and just glides into the pits. Looks as despondent as he possibly can. The contrasting emotions. Alif is desolate, and well, I'm sure Inigo Anton is saying, don't muck it up here, no mistakes here, don't crash, no Wall of Champions for me.
Yeah, and also the fact that it was a drive-through there. Drive-through for Alif, so it might have been for multiple collisions. Meanwhile, we had to also spare a harder for Team Flash. They could have looked good for a second and third. Now the results gone pear-shaped.
This is the win. This is the final straight. This is Inigo Anton. He's on the casino straight. Don't do it in the Wall of Champions, son. Do not do the Wall of Champions. Safely negotiated by the skin of his teeth. Inigo Anton is the winner, remarkably, of race 2 at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit. Behind him, Ibrahim will come in P2. Josh Thomas in 3. Perwin 4. Nakib Aslan, his best result of the season. But what a story, Alex Young, for Inigo Anton.
Wow. Well, they had all sorts of incidents, but we have to talk to the man of the hour. We've got so much to talk about. But first of all, Inigo Anton, this is your first race win in E1 Championship. You had the pace, you were up and down, there was drama all going around with you. What were your thoughts?
I don't know what to say, actually, to be honest. This is actually like, you know, if it sticks, it's my first international win in a sim racing competition. So just don't know what to say. But firstly, I just want to say first I'm sorry because there's so many incidents and so many stuff that just happened, you know.
Yeah.
And we had this little incident with Luke Bannister. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I was going into the pits and I don't know why he braked so early. I don't know what he was trying to do, but we had a collision. And, you know, hopefully it's just a racing incident. But I just want to say, you know, thank you to the whole team. Thank you to my parents. Go Philippines, I guess. To my supportive parents, they've been through me. They've been through everything with me. Just amazing.
Congratulations. I mean, things were having, but you had the pace today. The pace was there, and you were there to benefit from some of those incidents. You know, it's the first win for GT Radio Eurasia. I mean, okay, we'll have a look at, we'll go and have a talk with Luke as well on that incident. But yeah, I mean, we've seen you win an e-racing GP, but you're right. This is the first time you've won with such a big, tough field.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you again, and you know, just thank the Lord for always just been guiding me through all of this, and thank you to everybody who's just been supporting me. It's been such, I don't know, such an eventful race. I don't know what to say, but you know, my face doesn't show it, but yeah, deep down I'm really happy. I just don't feel that happy about the incident, but it's racing.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
incidents.
Congratulations.
Incidents, of course, do happen. We'll find out on that later. Your mother, such a vocal supporter on Facebook last week, and you know, you have a really strong following. Inigo, just a couple of names I've noticed: Jamil, Catherine, Jack, Ayman, Nabil, all on Facebook, all cheering you on. Do you have a specific message for them, because they are passionate about you?
Yeah, it's just been amazing just to see, you know, through everything, even, you know, from real life racing to going into sim racing, and you know, the support is still there with everybody. It's just amazing, incredible that we can do all of this while COVID is happening in our own home, very safe, you know. So I just like to thank everybody for your support. Hopefully you keep on believing in me, and you know, next time I'll try and do better again and do my best.
Fantastic. Alex, anything else?
Nope, that's it. Well done, Inigo, and well, see you at the next race.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Des, I believe you have the unofficial results to run it through with us.
They will be unofficial, I'm sure, because there's bound to be one or two protests coming in. But Inigo Anton, GT Radial Eurasia Motorsport, the winner by 5.1 seconds. Could that be crucial? That 0.1 could be crucial. Mohammed Ibrahim, well, we thought he crashed out. He came back for P2 for Team Flash. Josh Thomas in the third place, ahead of Josh Perwin of Black Arts Racing. Naki Baslan, really remarkable result considering he hit the wall of champions 3 times for P5. Luke Bannister 6, Kalen Chin 7, Ali, breaks my heart, down in P8. Dominic Ang for Stratos 9. Hakimi in 10. He had his moments as well. Joaquim Garrido and Alistair picking up points as well. Aaron Lim, good result for the team EGG man. We hardly focused on Aaron. Congratulations to him. Arif in P14. Tunku Janlei, an excellent P15 for him. There will be protests. These results are brought to you by evoclubinsurance.com.
Thank you very much there, Des. And you're right, there will be some incidents that we have to talk about as well. We have to analyze. I've got so many notes here, so we just need a minute or two to get everything ready. And we'll bring in some of the drivers involved in the key moments today as well to discuss their perspective on what happened during a thrilling race. That's next.
When I switched to Pro Mileage, I got 47% of savings.
I paid 790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was 1,290. Pro Mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking Pro Mileage. I say, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
So the cool thing about e-racing in esports is you can have drivers go across the different platforms, because if you know how to drive one car, you can pretty much know how to drive another car, even in a different game.
There are so many different platforms that drivers, professional, amateur, or completely beginner can try out.
Probably the most popular games in the world right now is GT Sport and Formula 1, and that's mostly on console. Great for graphics.
Of course, that's probably one of the first things that beginners and amateurs will notice first, right? How pretty it looks on the screen.
Gran Turismo basically started the whole competitive e-racing scene. Ultimately, it wasn't the most realistic game.
There are some that are more realistic, some that are more arcade game. Gran Turismo has a wider audience, so it's easier, it's cheaper as well to play the game. But of course, it's not as realistic as games like R-Factor or iRacing.
For more professional drivers and drivers that come from the real motorsports world, what they look at in a racing platform is the handling, that realism. It doesn't have to look pretty, it has to feel right. The platforms that emulate that the most would really be Assetto Corsa, R-Factor, but really iRacing and RaceRoom as well.
So when you get a bit more professional, you want to do what the big teams are doing, like Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. They're always on iRacing.
We've moved from RaceRoom to iRacing for this season. It's a quantum change. The graphics are just a little bit sharper. The attention to detail is very, very strong as well.
The best racing game that I've tried is obviously iRacing. Probably one of the most realistic games.
The driving input-wise, you have to drive them a lot like real cars.
You teach a lot of discipline in driving.
It's the best sim on the market. You'll always find a race, and you'll always be with guys similar pace to yourself. The matchmaking is really good.
It's just so nice to see that there's so many racing games for so many different motorsport platforms.
All of these games have their pros and cons, and it's just finding out the correct driving style that you need for each game.
From my generation, I need to tell your generation that what we are seeing is just incredible.
Certainly is a great platform. E1 Championship Season 2, the most premier sim racing champion, brought to you by Evo Club Car Insurance with Pro Mileage, where you can save 40% off your next car insurance renewal. Find out how much you can save at evoclubinsurance.com. It's on your screen right now. Again, that's evoclubinsurance.com. Thank you so much for coming on board with E1 Championship. We're still dissecting what happened during the race. I mean, there's so many incidents for us to pick out, not enough time. Race director Alex. So let's get to the biggest one, because we just heard from the champion, Inigo Anton. Congratulations to him for winning. But there was that incident with Luke Bannister. Seemed to tag him. What did you make of it as we take a look at it?
I mean, let's have a look at it now. I mean, Luke Bannister, they're just coming in for the first of their only pit stops, really. And here we come down the back straight. You didn't really see it from Inigo's point of view. It looks like they're breaking for the last corner. Yeah, and Bannister, no, he's got every right to go to slow down for that corner. I think Inigo will get a penalty for that, because he was obviously going to the pit lane. Maybe he thought Bannister was going into the pit lane, but still, it's on the onus of the guy behind to overtake safely. And we've seen that happen before in Formula 1 sometimes. What sometimes people do is they jig out to the right and brake super late and then just go down the pit road. And I think Inigo should have done that. Instead, he just went straight to the back of Bannister. But let's see what the stewards say.
Yeah, well, we heard from Inigo. He said he was questioning why Luke slowed down. So we can actually bring in Luke here now, finish in 6th. I mean, what's your perspective on the incident there?
I slowed down because I was taking the corner, basically. But it's a bit of an awkward pit entry, because if you're entering the pits, you want to brake almost 150 meters later than someone who's taking the corner. So you get incidents like that sometimes. So one of those things.
Well, yeah. I mean, it must be disappointing. You came into this round leading the championship. Haven't seen the championship points at the moment, but I got a feeling Ibrahim might have taken the lead now. It was a difficult day today, wasn't it, for you and Black Arse in general?
Yeah, it was. Our pace wasn't the best here compared to how it was at Brazil. But I think we were doing our best in race 2 and we were running 1st and 2nd, which was good. And then, yeah, obviously the incident with Inigo. But another thing was, I only maybe lost 6 or 7 seconds with that incident, but because I was doing that extra lap, I was tight on fuel, but I had enough. But then because I was hit and I stopped and I had to go again, I was actually coughing down the pit lane, so it cost me a bit more time. So yeah, I might have been in that battle at the end with the cars at the front after they had their incidents, but I mean, that's racing, I guess.
Unlucky, unfortunate. Adam, anything else?
No, I think that's it. Luke, thank you so much, and good luck in 2 weeks' time, okay?
Yep, thank you.
There was another incident as well. Alex, now keep us on now. he didn't have the best race 1. I think he really struggled there. He was trying to make up lost ground, I sense, in race 2, and he was involved in an incident throughout the course of the 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think we'll try and talk to Nakib now, but I mean, Nakib's uncharacteristics had a lot of incidents. Normally he's very silky smooth, doesn't make any mistakes, but it shows you how hard he's trying. That he hit the world champions, was it 3 times? So quite a few incidents there. We might get on the instant replay. Yeah, so he's just over pushing a little bit. Here he is. I think this is the race 1 incident, wasn't it? No, it must be race 2. There he is, yeah, where he spun out. So clumsy by Nakib, but we'll talk to him about it as well. He should take some positives though. You know, found a lot more pace this weekend compared to last weekend. Closed the gap on the leaders in what is, you know, not a game he's comfortable with, and still has to learn more.
Yeah, let's bring in Nakib Azan into the conversation. Nakib, not sure if you could hear us earlier. It looked like a tough race 1 for you. We didn't speak to you there, but we're speaking to you now. A couple of incidents. I mean, what we just saw, what happened?
Yeah, it was really tricky out there. Overall, I think we were really happy with the improvements we made from round 1. I think we've closed up the gap to the leaders quite well. But unfortunately in race 1, yeah, I think the racecraft that we suffered weren't the best, you know, every time being involved in other people's incidents, which was unfortunate. I think we could have got a much better result than we did, but try to push that aside and focus on race 2, and it went a lot better. Followed the train. We showed that we had good pace again to follow with the leaders, and I think, yeah, and then when, like you said, when you're at that point, I was a bit eager and a bit more hungrier to get more, and maybe just asked a bit too much from the tires at some certain points. And yeah, just a few mistakes here and there, so not the cleanest of weekends, but overall I think as a team we can look at it quite positively because we made some good inroads.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Stratos Motorsport and I think Alif were the most improved this weekend. You should take some positives from that. And how do you think you can? I mean, obviously it's a process; it takes time. But do you think you can get there by the next weekend, or it might take a couple more weekends before you're back at the front?
Time will tell, but I think, you know, if we look at the rate of improvement we made from round 1, I think hopefully, yeah, by next round we'll be up there already. But yeah, never say never. But all we know is that we'll be pushing our best and hopefully come out on top again.
Yeah, just a quick one. You happy? I think you finished 5th, right? P5?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you must be happy given the incidents that they had and race 1, like we mentioned. Good turnaround.
Yeah, it was a good turnaround. If you look at the gap, though, I think if you take away my stupid spin on the World Champions, I would have been probably up in the podium. But it is what it is. You know, it's racing. We live and we learn. On to the next one.
All right. Congratulations on that comeback in race 2, and we'll speak to you again soon. Okay.
Thanks.
I want to also bring up another incident. I think we're going to look now, Alex, Alif and Josh Pooh, and towards the end, I think there's about 2 minutes left on the clock. They came together. Another key defining moment.
Yeah, you know, just in the last corner, there we are, Josh Pooh defending from Alif. Alif had great pace in race 2, you know, him and his teammate. So there he is going around the corner. Oh, runs wide. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. I would love to have another look at that. It looks, I'm not sure if it's netcode or Josh actually started spinning in sympathy. Actually, I can watch it on Facebook right now as well. It's got a 20-second delay. I think it might have been a bit of netcode. I think they might have just touched a little bit, and then it caused both of them to spin. So disaster for them, because one of these two would have won the race, obviously. But it's like, who didn't want to win the race? I mean, okay, Ibrahim got so unlucky as well, didn't he? He caught up in that back market, Kifli Hoffman. I think changed direction last minute, took out Ibrahim. And then Josh and Alif, we just saw taking each other out. So, yeah, tough for them.
All right, you know what? I'm just going to get straight into it with Mahad Alif. Just want to get your perspective on that, what we just saw, and are you in agreement with how Alex analyzed it?
I think it's a racing incident at the end of it, because I mean, I was trying to give Josh enough space on the inside because I know netcode would be a part of it, and then we kind of just came together in the middle. So I think that just just and the netcode kind of acted up and spun around, and I kind of exceeded the incident points. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's racing.
Oh, that's why you got the drive-through. So that explains the drive-through afterwards. But yeah, totally, I think it was a racing incident as well. But Leaf, I mean, you must be quite pleased with that because your pace in the second race was really good. You know, it was there with Ibrahim. I mean, it's a world of a difference from round 1 to round 2.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really worked hard in the past week. You know, I really analyzed everything, and I put in a lot of time and effort to get to what I was missing compared to Ibrahim, and I'm just glad that it's showing. You know, with that race 1, but race 2 could have won, but it's still 6 more rounds to go. So yeah, all to play for.
Yeah, a lot of ground to be made up. Alif, thank you very much, and congratulations today on what was a very encouraging race.
I just want to say, Adam, I'm really impressed. I mean, with Alif, because he's a top driver. He's very professional. Oh, he's still on screen. I don't want to talk nicely about him when he's still on screen. Go away. Just joking. But he's very professional, so he's very analytical as well. And the best drivers are analytical, and he's able to look at it and you see, you know, I mean, he was miles off in round 1, and he was really quick in round 2. I mean, like you said, he could have won race 2. So that's a really good improvement from him, and I think we'll see him back at the front very soon.
Yeah, it's quite telling that both our former champions are very analytical. We just spoke to Nahir Mazlan before that, and now Muhammad Alif. But let's go through the highlights, and there are plenty for you to talk about here, Alex.
Okay. So then obviously in the highlights, here we go, the rolling start. I did like the rolling start. It looked great. The cars looked awesome. Dominic, they're leading at the very start. But then look at this. Oh, Ibrahim, he was one of the first to pit. And he made that strategy work for himself, though I was really worried he wouldn't make it to the end. But then this happened. Inigo Anton spinning out Luke Bannister. Of course, he's under investigation for that at the moment. Then Ibrahim, great pace. Even though he stopped early on older tires, he was able to make some great moves. And here he is, taking the lead from Josh Perwin. And at this point, there was a train of 5 cars. And then this contact with the back marker. Disaster for Ibrahim. But he was very fortunate because then, the lap later, this happened between his teammate Alif, Josh Perwin, and Kalen Chin. And that allowed Ibrahim to finish second. Inigo Anton then would take his first win in the E1 Championship. Inigo Anton for Philippines, the GT Radio Eurasia. But of course, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, race controllers still having a look at this, but Inigo Anton is the provisional winner ahead of Mohamed Ibrahim, who also had fastest lap. It's a heck of a weekend, Mohamed Ibrahim. Josh Thomas and Josh Perwin from Safe House and Black Arch Racing, 3 and 4. Naki Baslan, good result for him, 11 points for P5. Bannister, another solid performance in 6 ahead of Kalen Chin. Ali finishing in P8, but looked very quick. Dominic and competitive, as was Mika Hakimi for Black Wolf, as always. The overall round 2 results, 54 points Mohamed Ibrahim, a first, a second and fastest in qualification. Josh Thomas picking up 35 points, third. That's consistent. Inigo Anton's first ever E1 Championship victory, asterisk to be confirmed, for GT Radial Asia, means that he picks up 33 points for the round, ahead of Alif, his best result for the season. Josh Perwin, 23. Mika Hakim will be happy with 13 points. Nakib, he's back in business as well. And Miko Nasi provided so many highlights. This was a really good round. These results are brought to you by our sponsor, EvoClubInsurance.com, Evo Club Car Insurance with Pro Mileage.
Thanks there, Alex and Des. Now, next week, there is no race. There'll be 1 week off, but on the 15th, we do return. And this is where it's going to get really interesting. During our little preview last week of the season in its entirety, this track came up several times, and with good reason. Here's Amanda to talk us through it.
Next week, the long-awaited very first Indy Oval race will take place on E1 Championship Season 2 on the world's most famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indiana, United States. It's famously known as the Brickyard, getting its name from the surfacing project in 1909 when 3.2 million street paving bricks were laid. The Indy 500 is an automobile race that is held here annually. In the year 2000, it staged the US Grand Prix when Formula One racing was brought back to the US after 19 years of absence. Together with the Indy 500 and the Brickyard 400, these remarkable variety of events underscores the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's moniker as the racing capital of the world. Stay tuned for more action next week. Same time, same day, same channel.
We discussed that track a little bit last week, Alex, but the fixed setups as well. Now that intrigues me. How does this change things?
Well, this is going to mean that we're going to get a slipstream race. I mean, the cars are just going to be like this all the way. Because fixed setup, everyone's going to be doing very similar lap times. It's whoever can just be a little bit of a finesse with the wheel to have less drag around the track. So we're going to see really, really close racing the whole way. We're also going to have yellow flags. We're going to have safety cars for the oval race as well. So every time someone crashes, a safety car will come out as well. And make it exciting. It'll be one long race, so double points for that one long race. With a couple pit stops thrown in as well, just to add to it.
You are a man full of surprises as the race director. But Des, I'm going to pass it over to you because we have to go through the individual championship standings and also the team championship standings.
Indeed, let's have a look at them for round 2. Mohammed Ibrahim, 88 points is the championship leader. That's one heck of a tally already. Luke Bannister, 65, just ahead of Josh Berwin, 63, both Black Arts Racing. Josh Thomas, consistency personified, 58 points, ahead of Kalen Chin. A lot of Aussie flags there. Alif Hamilton, he makes his first movement. The Singaporean, current defending champion, is on 49, ahead of Inigo Anton, who won his first ever race in spectacular fashion in race 2 today. Miko Nasi deserves some luck. He deserves more than 38 points. And on 30, competing in the top 10, Nakib Aslan and Dominic Ang, the Stratos Motorsports teammates. In the team standings, Flash, top of the pile, 138 points. They leapfrog Black Arts Racing. Despite a good week for Josh and Luke Bannister, Flash had a terrific week, and Ali for Mohammed Ibrahim had a 1-2 in race 1. Safe out with Nasi and Thomas deserve a bit more luck. They're just 4 shy of 100 points. Black Wolf on 73. G2 Radial Your Asia, mainly thanks to Inigo Anton's points, but also Joaquim Garrido chipping in. They are on 65. Stratos, Apex, Team EGG, Slipstream, and E-Racing GP Icons complete the 10 competitors.
Thank you very much for that, Des. And what about the car? What car have you chosen for the next race, Alex?
That's a good thing. We have to change cars because this is a Formula 1 car. It doesn't go around ovals. We have to go with an Indy car. So we're going to the IRR18, Dallara IR18, which is it's exactly the same car as the modern day Formula 1 car. Sorry, modern day Indy car. Great fun. You got the visor, the screen at the front. Fixed setup, like you said, so all the cars are going to be identical. It's going to be thrilling.
I cannot wait for that. And a little reminder, once again, there is a 1-week break. So September 15th, mark it in your calendars. Wherever you're watching this right now, it'll be on the same platform. Lots of thrills and spills, keeping our fingers crossed for that. Daniel Woodruff will be back in the studio alongside Alex Des and Ammo. In case people are wondering, I'm actually operating for home, which is why we've had some minor broadcasting issues, so we do apologize for that. But thanks for putting up with me, Alex, Des, and Ammo. Awesome. And I have to say, this has been better than I expected.
Yeah, no, it's great having you, Adam. I mean, it's been awesome having you there. And hopefully you're back soon.
Yeah, I'll be watching with eagle eyes in 2 weeks' time, as I hope you will be at home as well. Stay safe. My name's Adam Carruthers. Till next time.